Hello, everyone. Welcome. I clicked a thing. I left a thing clicked. We're a professional operation. It's all good. There we go. We're good now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live from the Apocalypse. My name is Will. My tattoo is really, really itchy. And that's a fun fact about me.
Slap it.
This is Live from the Apocalypse. This is a channel where we play tabletop games for charitable causes and mutual aid funds. This is the first episode of Season 2 of our ongoing science fiction campaign, Nephilim. Season 1 just wrapped up. It's 10 episodes long. It's all on YouTube. Yeah, sorry. No, we can't just listen to end it the entire stream. Cockport indeed. Good. Yeah, good. This is good. I'm not distracted or anything.
Cockport.
Nephilim, this episode benefits the Fund Texas Choice. It is a nonprofit organization that works to procure transportation and accommodations for individuals seeking an abortion in Texas, even if it means traveling to other states. So, if you are so inclined, if you like what you see here today, we ask that instead of doing the normal Twitch stuff of subscribing to our channel or donating bits or what have you, that instead you donate to the organization that we are platforming, which is Fund Texas Choice. There's the link. ! Donate in the chat. We'll pull it up at any point during the stream, and the bot will be posting it periodically as we go along. So yeah, feel free to give if you can. But if not, feel free to just hang out, watch, chat, what have you. With that said, I think that's like most of the housekeeping, right? We do have a couple ongoing Extra Life campaigns, which is another organization that we platform that benefits children's hospitals through the Miracle Network and the organization called Extra Life. So a couple of our castmates have their own links, which I believe they're posting now. You can also donate to that. They will give you different things. Rouge will drink something terrible. Della will knit things. There's an example. Yeah. So those are also an option. But with that said, we are going to move right on into our session. How's everybody feeling in our later time slot? Everybody awake?
This is great.
This is great. We love this.
Have my sugar-free monster.
Play with my child.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful.
Time with your child.
Right?
Unheard of. So we let me go around and introduce everyone. Rouge plays Maeve Delaney in this game. That is the intellect. She's sort of the combination ship's mechanic, ship's doctor, sort of a jack of all trades, and just a general cinnamon roll. Ellis Red-Eye Maldonado is old grizzled veteran of some kind with a troubled past and a big gun. Jaxper Sim has a lot of anger issues, but means well, and only makes good choices. And Karis Mori, who is our infiltrator, was unconscious last session. And is generally just, the pilot. And that's all there is you need to know about Karis.
Yep.
Definitely the only important and interesting facts about Karis.
Yes.
That is it.
Yep. You know how, infiltrator is a synonym for pilot.
Yeah. I infiltrate.
We are going to have a conversation.
No. What?
What? Huh?
We don't do any talking in this game.
We don't talk about feelings. We throw grenades at shit.
That's right.
Yo, if I threw the grenades at everything that I had feelings about, my life would be so much more simple.
You'd run out of grenades.
You
Simple is
already
the way to put it.
I would
kind
run out of
throw
grenades.
grenades at everything.
So yeah, it's been about a week since the events of our season finale, wherein you all were successful in pulling your last job in the settlement of Independence, Mars. You stole a medical unit for a local clinic to use to better the community, to better serve the people of Independence. You pulled it off, but not without Jaxper getting captured by a mysterious figure. You also managed to save Jaxper from said mysterious figure, who turned out to be somebody from Jaxper's past, some kind of brother, maybe. You're not super clear on the details. But
Bad news, Nano Bro.
Bad news, Nano Bro. Definitely had some nanites. and definitely used them on you all. And that was how Karis ended up unconscious also. Karis missed all of that excitement.
Got hit with a desk. Karis got hit with a door.
Karis got hit with Karis.
Yeah.
With
a wall.
Yeah. And unfortunately, in the wake of that, you were also betrayed by a new acquaintance of yours that you had trusted, who turned out to be working for this mysterious figure named Michael, whom you've only really heard about once before, when your captain, Grace Miller, first went missing at the very, very beginning of this very game. The details
played us like a fiddle.
Yeah, the details of who Michael is or what exactly she was looking for are not super clear to you all, but you did discover that she made off with something from your ship, from the Nephilim. You don't know what it is. And shortly after that, with tearful goodbyes and I imagine just sort of a general sense of slowly simmering rage over the course of the entire crew, you departed Mars. Not in victory, but just in, you. So you've been out in space for about a week. The Nephilim's flying again. You've even made some improvements to it before you left. And now you've got the whole solar system is your oyster. You can go anywhere. You can do anything you want to do. But as we rejoin our crew, what we see is a familiar sight. We see the Nephilim. We see this junky old ship. Nothing really special or noteworthy about it. It's blocky. It's rusty. Parts of it are in disrepair. But it's solid.
Okay, listen. Aesthetically in disrepair.
Yeah, right, of course. Obviously,
Mavis spent a great deal of time finessing the inside.
She has never flown better. But she ain't much to look at. Her grabber arms are currently retracted, and painted on the side is the name of the ship. Spray painted in stencil is Nephilim with the wings bookending the name of your ship. And inside of that ship, as we zoom in a little more, we see. Let's start with Ellis, because I imagine Karis has been out of commission for some time. Even when Karis regained consciousness, Karis wasn't really in condition to be manning the ship. Wasn't really ready to resume his post in that nameless front end of the ship.
The place where all the wheels and handles are.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever that's called. It's not important.
The port, you might call it.
Perhaps.
The portacoculus.
God damn it. I imagine, Ellis, if you're not actively flying the ship, which you probably don't need to do at the moment. I don't think y'all really have a destination in mind yet, but I imagine that
he's probably spending most of his time up there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Ellis would probably be spending most of his time, especially given that's where the scanners are, the visual representations of things are. We've been hoodwinked, ambushed, hijacked, and otherwise begrieved so much over the past however many days that Ellis is uninclined to go hang out and make himself a sandwich. Like, it's going to be... Someone needs to be keeping an eye on the big black suck that's about ready to kill us at any time.
He hasn't earned a sandwich, you might say.
No.
Very fair. I sort of imagine what we see as Ellis, in the pilot's chair, but sort of just leaning forward, maybe hands peeked in front of his mouth. I'm sort of imagining, correct me if I'm wrong here, but based on what I know about Ellis, I'm sort of picturing that he's just kind of been replaying all of the events of your last 24 hours on Independence over and over again in his mind. Maybe.
Yeah. Aside from that, also focusing on, as he's wont to do, he's been without a lot of leads on where to find Michael and these other things, and so now there's more bits to the puzzle to put in to shake out.
Yeah.
And while he probably hasn't spent much time on the boards or the net tracking things down, it's about finding people now. So it's about putting names to faces and putting connections together and making the line that we need to lead now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, underslept, overcaffeinated, and trying to lock down every memory and clue and bit of investigative buzz that he can.
Was there ever a point while you were on Mars that did Ellis ever entertain the notion that things would go back to normal, quote unquote?
No, I don't think so. No, Ellis is pretty sure that like the Nephilim is, because first of all, he most likely, more so than the other three members of the crew, was pretty sure that Grace was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like his is more of a push for vengeance than for recovery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the face he puts on it. So it makes more sense. But given his history, like people don't come back alive, people come back dead, and then you either you forget about it or you make amends some way or another. So his assumption is, and I think we've talked about this a little bit, that
mm-hmm.
at some point Maeve's going to take the ship
mm-hmm.
and do whatever Maeve Delaney wants to do with the Nephilim, because it is ostensibly and legally hers.
That is true.
But that his path will go another direction once wrongs have been righted.
Okay. Has Ellis's opinion of Grace's situation changed with the knowledge that, at least as of somewhat recently, she was alive?
Right. I think that's a big point of it, is that it's like, okay, well, the timetable has now changed. Because his was on like a cold burn. I'm going to find the people who did this and kill them back. And now it's, we need to find her. This is back to being a missing persons case.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can recover anything and hurt the people and take her back, that becomes top priority now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he probably, maybe even more so than anyone else, was pushing to get off Mars as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Like as soon as everyone came to and Jax was able to get them free, it was like, okay, so we leave now, right? Like, yeah, nice to see you, Delaney's, but we gotta fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, after the repairs were made to the Nephilim, because that was the whole point of going to Independence. But yeah, you could have like hastily finished those, especially with between Orson and Maeve working together. For sure. Okay. And
another point of burning the Midnight Oil is that he's been like partial bounty hunting, partial plotting, partial like, okay, where are we going? We need to be going somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And leaving Ellis with his thoughts up in the cockpit, traveling down into the lower level of the ship to where the bunks are, which I imagine is where we find Karis Mori sort of hunched over a data pad that we've seen plenty of times before. We've seen Karis use plenty of times before, though the rest of the crew has not. Karis's face is better. I imagine that there are still bruises, though the swelling has gone down. And the say what you want about Dr. Bouchard in Independence, but he definitely was able to return your features to being recognizable, to being pretty much exactly where they were before you bashed your face into a concrete wall repeatedly.
I have a really cool scar now.
Sure. Yeah, you can have a really cool scar. That's fine. And I think the reason why Karis we see is poring over this data pad is because the last thing Karis saw was his old friend on Independence, on Mars. And you didn't really have a chance to explore that, to really have much of a conversation. But I imagine that in the wake of that, when you regained consciousness, you guys were not on Mars anymore. You were already back in space. And so I think you've probably been trying to get in touch with Takamagahara, with your temple, for a while now, but you have not received a single reply.
Woof. Yeah. Whenever the rest of the crew sees Karis outside of his bunk, he's pretty solemn, more quiet than usual.
Yeah, and I imagine you've been around a little bit. Like, you've been taking meals since you woke up, which is probably a couple days ago. But obviously, you're still sort of recovering.
Yeah. And I'm spending a lot of time trying to, I guess, track my friend down. Not only because I miss my old friend, but also because I'm paranoid, because at this point that's definitely not my friend anymore.
They were mostly using plural pronouns, or at least non-specific pronouns when you encountered them. So that is definitely something to be aware of, and definitely some cause for concern potentially. Moving one bunk over from Karis's, I imagine that's where we would find Jaxper Sim, just sort of stretched out in his bunk. How have things been for Jaxper? I imagine things have been a little loud up in the old headspace, what with all of your new assorted visitors. Oh, you're muted, Della.
Still muted?
Yeah, no, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah, I've got Elliot, I've got 16 and 19 in here. So honestly, I'm probably spending a lot of my time trying to integrate their memories. And kind of, there's an element of just sort of catching up that Jax is doing. He probably seems really distracted to the rest of the crew. And you've probably all occasionally seen him doing things where previously Jaxper had always pretended to be human, and now he's kind of not doing that all the time anymore. So you've probably all walked down a hallway and not realized he was just standing there, not doing anything apparently, but having a full conversation, doing a whole bunch of stuff in his own head. The only other major change that people would have noticed is that Karis previously, whenever you, you and Jaxper crossed paths, you would get a ping, not a connection request or anything like that, just a acknowledged,
you've
nope.
entered the chat room.
Yeah. Just like a hello, you are there kind of signal. You do not get that anymore. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, integrating your old comrades is a taxing undertaking for sure. 16 lived a whole life before 14 Elliot caught up with him. So there's a lot there. 19, you saw basically the end of 19's life when you guys left the facility. And 14 is just, well, there's a lot to unpack there. Yeah. In the fullness of time. Back on the... Oh, sorry, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
Everything.
Back on the upper level of the Nephilim, in the engine room, where we find Maeve Delaney, who in a interesting parallel from the beginning of our season 1 arc, is currently in the middle of a conversation with an individual. I think you all are still roughly within the orbit of Mars, even though you've left the planet while you're figuring out your next move. So you are still able to key into the net through Nephilim systems. Once you were out in space beyond the range of the planet's network, you wouldn't be able to. You'd have to use the link, the stripped down version. But for now, you are still able to have said communication. And that is how you are talking to one Hugo Saltz, your contact with the Scrappers Union. He is a rotund man with sparse facial hair, very little on the top of his head, and just sort of generally wearing he looks like a scrapper, despite his role as more of a bookkeeper. He has a desk job now, but that doesn't change him from, wearing basically like sort of a dirty work shirt with some suspenders over the top of it. And he looks at you, Maeve, and he looks down at presumably the information that he has spread out in front of him, and he says, look, I don't know how you did it, kid, but yeah, you're paid up. You buy yourself some time.
Did we do that?
Yeah. You
okay.
That's why you pulled two jobs.
Yeah.
That's why you pulled two jobs on independence. And one of your options for one of the things you picked was to pay off your debt fees, or at least reduce your debt fees.
Yeah, that's why I was caught off guard too. I was like, wait, did we pay off the ship? When did we do that?
Not the whole ship, but you made your payment on time, which he had warned you in the first session was going to be due on a normal schedule. He couldn't give you a delay or anything like that.
Right. So we made a payment.
Yes, you made a payment. But he still seems impressed by that, which maybe says more about his opinion of your capabilities than it does about what you've accomplished. But
rude.
Yeah, he seems impressed, and he says, look, I misjudged you, I guess.
Yeah, well, so we're good for now, right? We've got some time before you're gonna hit us up again.
I mean, you're covered for a month for sure. You're good.
All right, then.
I guess that
begs. Yes, we'll.
I guess that begs the question. Are you looking for work? Nephilim's flying again. Obviously, you're dead set on keeping her up there. I got work.
We've got a bit of a personal project we've got to address first, I think. But let me check with Alice to see where we're headed and see if maybe any of your work is in the same direction.
Well, Bill's got to get paid, Maeve, and if you're not working for us, you're not in the union.
I mean, as long as the bills get paid, do you really care how we're doing it?
Look, I don't make the rules, all right, but what does it benefit the union to have a whole bunch of ships flying around out there? It's great if you pay us, but the union survives on its reputation. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. That's the way it's always been. Look, if you need to talk it over with your crew, that's fine. Whatever personal stuff you got to attend to, that's fine too. But listen, I give you a job that brings you close to Earth, and while you're here, you should stop in one of the offices. You should stop in at the head office. It's not my call to make, and I'm sorry, but well, look, we're not really left with any choice but to assume Grace is gone.
Well, you would assume incorrectly, and I don't see why that matters to the Union. We're taking care of things until she gets back, so it's fine.
But that's all well and good, but Union policy is look, if somebody's assumed deceased after a certain amount of time, they liquidate their unit. Maeve. Whatever's in there that gets sold off gets applied towards the debt. But you stop by the head office, I'll ask him to hold off and you can go through it all first, okay? Whatever you don't want to take with you, we'll sell it and it'll be applied to the debt. But
All right, we'll take the Earth job so that we can come get her unit, and don't let them go through it until we get there.
all right.
So thanks for the heads up.
I'll send you the details. Yeah, screen clicks off.
Grappers Union.
Yeah.
Union's gotta have its dues.
Mhm.
Unit refers to like a storage unit that she has, or like a
That was my assumption. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Because at first I
basically.
thought when you said the unit gets liquidated, you meant the Nephilim, and I'm like,
Oh no.
well, I guess we're going to war
Oh.
with the Scrappers Union.
Yeah, Maeve would not have allowed that. Maeve
Oh
would
yeah.
Right.
I
More
thought
people
that's-
for Ellis to shoot.
We would have gone rogue immediately.
real wet.
Way
ready
too
to,
happy
go to
when I
war.
thought you were gonna take it away.
No. Yeah, Scrappers Union members are the crews are entitled to like a storage unit essentially.
Got it. So
and-
Grace has got stuff, and we need to go through her stuff.
Basically, yeah. Okay. What are you doing with this
I
information,
would like,
Maeve?
if you don't have an next beat that you want to immediately move on, I want to do a bounty hunting show.
Yeah, we can start off with that. I assume Maeve is going to do something with that information, but we can see what Ellis is able to piece together first.
Maven's been
Yeah, I mean, at this
doing more
point, Maeve would
secret-y
be
shit
going.
lately.
That is true.
Maeve would be going to find Ellis to confer about what he has found and what this has turned up of, like, hey, like, obviously finding Grace is still, like, the most important thing, but this, if we don't have somewhere specific to go yet, this has become pretty important to do right now.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, you got a 10, which is very
did get a
good. You can hold 2 leads.
I do get 2
Ooh.
leads. And I'm gonna spend. So I spent a lead last time to declare that it was Wendy, right? Raph was playing Wendy. Or wait, what was the character's name?
It
Lucy?
wasn't Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I wanted to do
Evil
Wendy.
Lucy.
Evil Lucy. I declared that Lucy was our bounty.
hmm
And then I think at the time I left some of that open. Right.
Yeah, you did.
So I'll take these 2 leads for now, but in that sense, yeah, because it's no. What would it be? Okay, so I'll pull those 2 for now, and we'll say that that's what I'm doing. And then later on, if you want to take a look, I'm going to use Bloodhound to try and determine more on what we're doing with her. But for now, we'll say that like I've been running the net and trying to find any leads on the Puritans, and groups are abducting people about this like anti-robotics technology, and is there anybody who's like contesting them, and is there anybody willing to pay for that kind of stuff? Because it definitely seems like something that, at least to Ellis's limited experience with, it's like someone, if there's a group out there that's this powerful and this motivated and this fanatical and zealotic, there's going to be somebody who has problems with them.
Yes.
And that's that's a conflict that you can leverage when you got problems. So that's what he's trying to accomplish here, is that if the Puritans exist as a force, somebody's going to be anti-Puritan. And hopefully they're going to have some backing or some, exigence that I can lean on or take advantage of. And so that's what I'm digging through when Maeve comes up.
Okay, absolutely makes sense. Maeve, is that where you're headed? Are you going to fill everyone else in on the information that you've just received from Hugo?
I think I'm only going to find Ellis specifically.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you know where Ellis is most likely to be because it's kind of where he's been for most of the time since you left Mars behind. He's been spending most of his time seemingly lost in thought. Not really sure exactly what he's doing. He's been spending a lot of time on his own, and he's been pretty quiet about it.
At least he ain't been cooking.
Yeah.
Nuck, nuck.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. Bits.
I feel like Ma Delaney is who has been keeping the crew fed before they actually left Mars.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because
There's
I feel
still,
like Maeve
3
and
casseroles
Orson
in the fridge that are marked for different dates. Because they're like long-term feeding casseroles. Like,
yeah.
this one will keep for like 6 weeks in the fridge. Don't crack this one open until you're all really hungry and you're down to, bell peppers and onions. Like,
yeah. But yeah. So
Okay.
Maeve is going to go find Ellis to find out what he has managed to find out all this time.
You find him in much the same state you've seen him in over these past couple days.
All right, Ellis, you got a direction for us? Because otherwise we might have a bit of a road bump that is bringing us
a bit
to
of a
Earth.
what?
We've got
I'm sorry, there's additional road debris on this otherwise smooth travel we've had so far.
So that was Hugo. We're paid up for the month, but unless we take a union job, they're gonna really make trouble for us. And
they're gonna pull our shit, huh? Unless we start doing some work for the big boss.
But more than that,
just heck all.
They're getting ready to liquidate Grace's unit.
What the fuck? Why would they dump her shit? She didn't have anything worth anything.
They
they take on a bunch of new staff or something? They need room down there?
Said they've presumed her dead.
Oh, that's one.
So they're not going to hold on to it any longer.
Okay. Fine. All right. Accurate enough, I guess, as far as they're concerned, but all right. So by speed bump,
to tell him he
we
was
need to swing
wrong,
by Earth
but
and...
yeah. Hugo said
right.
he'd get us a job out that way so we can handle both problems at once. But
what a kind and generous benefactor old Hugo is.
I know.
So gregarious.
If it wasn't for Grace's unit, I'd say we could just tell him where he could take his job and shove it. But
I'm not looking to get you
go get Grace's
burning
unit.
Bridges before you ever built them, Maeve. So, frankly, he's got a point.
You think I care about the Scrappers Union?
I think you do.
It means that we waste time when we could be finding Grace.
That's a fair point, but Grace cares about the Scrappers Union, and Maeve, you're not going to be hunting Grace for the rest of your life. You got to also think what's the next step on the puzzle. So, yeah, let's go get Grace, because that's literally all I've been doing for the past too many hours. But honestly, Earth seems like a good place to be, and given we know that Lucy took something of a MacGuffin out of the ship, finding out what else Grace has got seems like a good plan as any. I already tossed her cabin, but wasn't anything in there I didn't already know about. I don't know about yourself. I'm sure Karis has been through there, but at this point, I assume Karis has read all the electronic email that goes in and out of the ship, just because seems to have a knack for it, and I'm piss poor at it. So I don't know if you want to poke around in there before we get back to Earth. But yeah, that's as good a hole to start searching as any, especially if you're looking for bad folk and bad information. All right. When was the last time you were on Earth, Maeve?
I guess the last time Grace had to go to headquarters.
So you ain't really been on Earth. You've been to Scrapper headquarters, and then
I mean,
probably out again.
what would I do on Earth?
That's a fine point. You know how dangerous and relatively hostile Mars is? Well, imagine that with 3,000 years of human history behind it. There's Earth for you. She's a peach. So let me make a few calls too, and see if I can get a hold of anybody I used to know who ain't already planning on killing me.
I guess we could check with the others and see
Oh
if
yeah,
they
well I mean
know
everybody's
anybody.
gonna know, right?
I
You're gonna
mean,
turn and burn. People are gonna ask questions. So.
do we think anyone Jax would even know would still be alive? I'm not
I have no idea how that
real
works, Maeve. That
clear
man is a mystery to me, wrapped in an
on
enigma
that.
and full of grenades. I don't know what else is going on in there. That's fucking 9 kinds of complicated in a 5-pound sack. I don't fucking. You ask him whatever you want. We're gonna let him know. I mean, I assume family meeting. In the meantime, let me make some weird calls to some people who don't like me much. Why don't you go poke our boys and let them know that we're going home?
Yeah, I'll go find them. They're probably
Oh, and ask Hugo if you got
in
any
their
details about
bunks.
that
They
job.
don't seem to go anywhere else lately.
Small ship, I guess. Well, you know, I'll ring up our lovely managerial staff and see if he's got any details. Earth's a big spot. I assume he's going to be keeping us close to headquarters, but it'd be good to know where in particular he had in mind. Wait, if I remember correctly, what was Kara's from? Kara's is from Earth, isn't he?
I think that's where we picked him up.
Pretty sure. All right, we'll see if he's got anybody he wants to talk to too. Everybody gets to go on a family reunion. The old home planet. All right.
I believe technically you picked him up on Takamagahara, actually.
Okay, so we might actually assume that he is from Taka.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, Ellis is first. He's gonna I don't think I'm gonna call Hugo, but he would definitely sling an email okay, you told me for taking a job. Fucking white paper, man. What? What job? Where? For who? Or is that something you're still working on? And then Ellis has got people he's got to get a hold of, partially to make sure that no one's gonna shoot down the ship when they get into atmosphere.
There's that. Okay. Let's start with Ellis. Let's start with Ellis's search for information.
Yeah.
So
let me do Bloodhound, because that's kind of what we're doing. So I'm trying to get information on Lucy, and we can use that role also to indicate how his reconnection to the seedy underbelly that is Terra goes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to we're hitting the streets and using our shady contacts to get information on a bounty. And by the streets, I mean the darknet.
Right. The digital streets.
Also a 10.
That's a 10. You guys are rolling rocks. You gain 1 lead.
I'm finally getting leads in this campaign.
I know.
That's weird.
You've got 3 leads by my count, and you get 2 questions.
Okay. So I'm going to go with, like I said, who else is after them?
Okay.
And who do they have connections to? Because the Puritans, if they sound like the religious organization that I think they're going to be based out of Earth or someplace like Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be from Jovian space or hanging out on weird alternative space stations or up on Taka or something. These sound like fundamentalists, originalists of some kind. So, who else is after them and where they're parking? They're getting funding from somebody,
Okay. I'm going to start with who do they have connections to, because I think that's the best option to... I'm just going to give you some general information that you were able to track down about the Puritans as an organization.
Okay.
As far as general knowledge is concerned, the Puritans don't have any formal structure. There are cells, but in general, it's considered to be more of an ideology than it is an organization. So there are members of the Puritans all over the solar system. And one Puritan may not know any other Puritans. There are a few common threads that connect them. Some of the information that you're able to find on the deep web, the dark net, whatever you want to call it, they're called more formally Puritans is kind of a colloquialism. It seems like the more simple, commonplace term to refer to them is like boogeymen, you know. But apparently the formal name that you're able to track down will say that you find some information from somebody who grew up as a member. You know, their father was indoctrinated and tried to pass it on to them, but you know, it never took. They call themselves the Church of the First Nail. And apparently one of the standard practices, an initiation rite, if you will, is that they have to allow a nail to be driven into some part of their body. Most commonly an arm, but not necessarily. At which point the nail is allowed to fester until there's no option but removing the point of infection.
So they're openly maiming their own populace? I mean, it's not the wildest fundamentalist belief I've heard of.
It is to, you know, demonstrate their devotion to the cause.
So what's the most do a lot of people get like hands taken off? That just seems very
yeah.
For people that are against cyberization, that seems like a pretty.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the church, is that they hate technology, but they are more than willing to use it, because obviously using it in acts of terror proves their point.
Right.
Which is that it's evil and it corrupts.
You mean they're
us.
ideologically inconsistent and possibly hypocritical?
Sure, yeah, that's a possibility.
I'm stunned. So this is my stun face.
I mean, listen, if your whole ideology is based on the fact that technology is evil, then using technology to evil thing just kind of makes sense. Sure. However, that being said, you would recall, probably with that knowledge in hand, that Lucy was missing her right arm. You did discover that it was a cybernetic replacement. Yeah, not always an arm, but you know, according to their ideology, the first nail that their church is named after was set into Jesus Christ's right palm, and that is the most common point of infection.
Sure. Okay. So then, who do they have connections to? If they're a little more isolated cellularly, I guess connections in that sense would be who's ideologically inline/supportive of them in a position of some authority or power, and or who has monetary connections to them, and then who else is after them is who is the flip side of that coin, right? If someone is pushing money towards them and in support of them,
yeah,
who's not? Who's anti them?
So I actually don't think like I don't think based on the searches that you were doing, you were able to find anyone who openly supports their cause. You know, they're
in support still.
That is almost certainly a thing. Actually, I'm going to say this: you find wild theories ranging from, you know, the thought that the entire party of the Earth Coalition is actually they're actually devotees of the church. You find like that's a theory. You find a theory that what's his face who runs the Jovian.
Oh, that shithead.
Not the Jovian Mining Collective, the other one. The give me a second.
Oh, the unions?
The corporate one. No, the Jovian Mining Collective is the union.
Yeah, no, they're the union. Yeah, no, the shithead who I used to work for.
Yes, yeah, that guy. You know, and you're pretty sure from like what you know about him that is not the case. He has never given you any indication, or the way he runs his company has never given you any indication that he holds that belief about technology or anything like that.
Colburn? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah, Colburn
Colburn.
Natural Resources is the company.
Yes, CBN.
Yeah. So you find a lot of theories all over, as is wont to happen with conspiracies and terror and things like that. It's hard to distinguish the bullshit from what might actually be true.
They're getting support from someone, because obviously this isn't, just a bunch of idiots filing their own money together, else they wouldn't be able to afford chips and jump system to system and abduct people and afford, high-powered weapons and things. So someone's backing them, but no one seems to know who. Okay, who's against them? Who's openly antagonistic?
Yeah, you actually do find a bounty listing. You have to dig for this, and I'm going to say that this is what takes you the longest, because obviously the name Lucy Callahan gives you nothing except maybe some old information from the days when she was a pirate alongside Maeve's parents.
Right.
But Lucy Callahan basically finds you nothing. However, at a certain point, you do find a bounty listing based on the description that you were able to key in for Lucy. And you do find a very blurry image that you're pretty certain is her, with the name Ava Gray attached to it. There is almost no information. There's almost no further information given except that she is wanted for questioning in regards to a possible involvement in the Church of the First Nail, and B, a series of murders on Earth from we'll say about 3 years ago.
So that's actually been put out then by Earth Coalition?
Yes, that would have been that is a party notice. Yes.
Got it.
I think my network may have cut out.
Oh, are you good? I can still hear and see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone just froze for a second, and
Oh.
Okay. Last I heard was Lucy is Ava.
Yes. Yeah, Lucy's Ava.
Alice is...
Lucy's name is actually Ava Gray. It seems like, unless that's another alias, and basically she's wanted by the Earth Coalition party for questioning in involvement with a series of murders, and just because they suspect she is a member of the church.
So with that, is her association with the church enough to be considered habeas to pick her up? Is this a terrorist organization in the eyes of
Earth
Coalition Authority?
For sure. But they don't know for sure that she is a member of the church. They suspect it. That's why she's wanted for questioning.
Okay, I kind of got that sense from how you're describing it as
Yes.
sectarian isolated cells, but I wasn't sure if this had progressed fully from dogmatic fundamentalist sect to no, this is a Christian terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, and they they're known for assassinations, blowing shit up, etc., etc.
So most global and interglobal powers have some, at least, tacit authoritarian opposition to them, being they are counter-technological insurgents.
Correct. Yes.
Got it. Cool. That makes hunting them easier. That means that we can alert any military organization of their presence and potentially get some men in black suits to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, if the...
but that would run the risk that they would pick them up, and then we wouldn't be able to get any intel, because they would just... Whoop.
That's very true, but if Ellis's experience is anything like most of our contemporary experience, it's that the FBI is notoriously bad at their job, and so you could potentially just use them to shake the bush and then go pick up all the scraps that they leave behind.
Well, they'll
probably just arrest the treasurer and the guy who was cleaning the building at the time.
I mean, there is that, but bear in mind that who the party would probably send are auditors, and
that's terrifying. But
wasn't that long ago that y'all killed an auditor and got seen doing it by a few other auditors who walked away from that fight.
I ain't killed no auditors myself. That ain't my way.
You haven't.
I thought that got kind of smoothed over.
Your people smoothed that over.
Yeah.
I don't know if the auditors consider it smoothed over.
You were told that it would be smoothed over, Karis. Nobody else knows that.
Also, we don't know if your if Taka's smoothing it over means that like Karis is off the hook or that everyone's off the hook.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot of,
interpreted that to mean Karis is in zero trouble for this.
Oh,
Jax is
yeah.
still fucked.
No, it would have to be the entirety of the Nephilim, otherwise Taka doesn't
yeah.
get their paws on you.
probably.
True. We would squeal. I'm speaking for most of I don't know about Jax actually, but Maeve and myself would potentially give up a
Maeve
lot.
wouldn't even do it to like intentionally. Someone would like strike up a conversation with her and ask questions, and she would just answer.
They'd give you a
everything
hot tea in the break room after they arrested me and would get 8 times as much information.
Yeah.
You take the glass of water they give you so that they can get your DNA. You've smoked the cigarette. All of those tricks, they all work.
And then immediately tell them every single thing that happened on the ship within the past 2 years.
Yeah, they don't want Jaxper to come anywhere near their center of organization. They would probably like Jaxper to stay pretty far away.
We forgot to pick him up. We left him in a dumpster. Oops.
Oops.
Oops. Oops, all nanites.
Oops, all nanites. It's the
No,
Okay, cool.
It is now proven that I do have a physical body that will get left behind if I have to do a full purge.
However, you do have a higher percentage of nanites to regular human cells now.
Oh my gosh, so many. There's so many.
that's
Your
true.
midi-chlorians
You're like
are off
60-40 now. It's
Yeah. Nah, it's not pretty in here. I probably actually like weigh a lot more than I did before.
I was literally going to ask. I'm like, wait, setting note question. Does Jaxper weigh more now? Because
Probably.
Jaxper has always weighed more than regular.
Yeah,
Maybe Jaxper's eating way more food.
that is
Sure is.
certainly true.
That is absolutely the case.
Yeah.
Gotta feed the beast, and the beast is my friend.
Jaxper's actually eating Ellis's cooking.
Well, Jaxper's eating for 4 these days, so
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
very good, very good. Okay, yeah. So that's about the information you can find. Ava Gray, the Church of the First Nail, truly awful, sickening stuff.
So yeah, Ellis is going to send out the standard as his is, questionnaire on like okay, what's the job going to be, Hugo, while he shifts the ship and then shoots for the gate to get back to Earth.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, so you start taking the ship away from Mars. You drop out of the orbit, leave the net connection, or leave the net connection behind, and make for the nearest ring gate so that you can basically slingshot your way back to Earth. Yeah, that's
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, Maeve, you were going to track down the rest of the crew and catch them up on all of the recent developments. So yeah, as we've established, Jaxper and Karis's rooms are pretty much next to each other. Who do you want to start with? Or are you bringing them both out?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. Ooh. I was gonna say she's just gonna pull them both out because she's only gonna do this once. But I'm trying to think if there would be anything she would be trying to ask where she wants to make sure their answers to match.
It's a valid question. You can just like page also through the ship's comms.
Yeah, we're just gonna do that. She doesn't have any questions she really wants to ask them right now.
All right.
So she'll just page them and be like, "Hey, come to the dining mess. We've got to talk. Plan."
All right. Presumably you'll make your way up to the...
Yeah, sounds good.
You just get a thumbs up emoji.
As you both step out of your
Ellis
rooms...
is actually going to join too.
Okay.
If I get like the ship set up.
Yeah, I mean, once you set the course in, we've established that the ship requires very little actual piloting unless there's trouble. So yeah, you step out. There's a moment, I imagine, where the doors to your bunks slide open, and Karis and Jaxper both pretty much step out and are left alone in the lower level.
Okay.
Not right now, man.
You're frozen on my screen, so that's what the poke
Oh.
was about.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought maybe you were just like poking, like you were indicating that you were just poking Jaxper.
Yeah, no. That would be a way to get a reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
yeah.
not a great one.
Oh, Jack just sort of looks at you and is like, not now, dude. And like leaves to starts walking.
Yeah, you go down to the staircase that leads basically right up into the mess, and you climb that, and there you are in the mess. Maeve is standing there, and Ellis enters almost at the same time from the cockpit with the new course laid in. Maeve, what are you saying?
We got word from the Scrappers Union. We've got business we've got to do with them. So we're headed to Earth and gonna have to see if we can make any headway finding these guys there while we're at it. So I guess if either of you have people back on Earth you can talk to that even are there anymore, now's the time to get in touch and see what we can figure out when we arrive.
The only people I know and trust enough are currently in here, so I can see if 16 had anybody there. By
Well,
16 together.
Didn't 16 claim the way he found you was overhearing them talk about you? Is there anything else about that in your head?
That was Elliot. That's 14. He sucks. 16.
Right.
Like is fine. But yeah, trying to get any information out of his iteration is really, really difficult. I'm working on it though. 16 is a lot more compliant. Mostly because he's not a dick, so I can try asking him.
For ease, Della, since 16 did have an entire life that he lived where he was married and even had kids and everything, if you want to give him a name, go for it. If you want to come up with that, feel free.
Okay, his name is Shervin.
Shervin?
Shervin?
Shervin.
Shervin.
I like the name Shervin.
It's a good name.
A strong Christian name.
Yes,
Shervin.
Definitely Christian. Shervin it is. I like it. And we'll lock it in. So Shervin is now 16. Elliot is 14. 19 never had a name. 19 in your mind goes by just 19. Never had any other name. Yeah.
19 probably goes by like the full designation that ends at 19.
Probably.
Yes.
Given his, yeah.
He was a good
I
soldier.
actually have that written down somewhere. So
Which one was the toaster?
I don't know
The
what you mean by
toaster? The murderous toaster?
Oh, one of them was just like a subservient appliance and didn't.
Oh,
that
the one
was,
who was doing the yeah.
That was 19, I'm pretty sure. 19 was the good soldier.
I think Ty was referring to the one who was like literally a grounds person.
Yeah.
Who like wasn't part of like the foreset.
Right,
like,
right. Yeah, there was one. I don't remember who that was, but we came up with
7 or something.
Something like that.
Rest in peace. That one was my favorite.
He could still be out there. Who knows?
Who knows?
Still just tending the grounds.
Yeah.
Elliot tried to kill a bunch of people, but also he kind of sucked at it. So we'll see.
That's true. Okay, cool. So yeah, you've got Shervin that you can check in on and see anything about that. But yeah, contacting Elliot plumbing the depths of that is almost like almost like staring into the abyss, shall we say?
Yeah, I don't feel like dealing with that shit right now.
Yeah.
I got enough shit going on.
I'm not rolling those dice, Malchus. Deal with it.
Basically, right now, Elliot is getting just relegated to,
Mm-hmm.
He's extra processing power right now. I'm not using his consciousness for anything.
What does Jacksburg have? Enough problems.
It's true. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
I think if that's where most of the other people are focusing on that, I think that Alice is going to spend at least a portion of that meeting be like, so Garrus, people on Earth or nearby, Jax has got a let's say a rich and storied history with our lovely origin habitat. How about yourself?
Never been.
Don't give me that look, Jaxper. You've got like 4 people in you.
I do, but I have never been to Earth. It's gonna be neat.
Neat's a word for Earth. How about yourself, Garrus? Anybody you think we need to talk to?
Geez, I just remembered that the pictures of people I have on my bunk wall are just like the stock pictures that come in picture frames when you buy them.
Yep.
Of course they are. But Ellis wouldn't assume that. Ellis would assume that Karis has family. Karis is a good guy.
Well,
yes.
I will remind you that Karis was born on Earth, but left before he had any ability to remember any of his life there. That's when he was taken to Tamagahara and raised in the temple.
It would be nice to see the temple again. And I'd love to show all of you around.
The temple? Which temple? On Taka, you mean?
Oh, fuck, I guess I never really told you guys I was an orphan.
You wouldn't have, but this is an easy way for you to do that, is that you could easily just spit a thing of like, oh yeah, I was very religious. It would be surprising given how many people I've seen you kill, but hey, who's else to judge?
Yeah.
I mean, religion has never killed anybody, ever.
A little, just a quick point of clarification before we get too deep into this. I just want to remind everyone that in the setting, the Shinto temple of Takamagahara is something that was instituted fairly early on as part of sort of a cultural reclamation of the Takamagahara culture. Basically, it was established as sort of the national religion, if you will, for all of the Takamagahara platforms as a way of maintaining that connection to their history after leaving Earth behind. And I think it is probably fairly well known that Shinshoku, who are the temple priests of the Shinto religion, are by and large not just religious leaders, but are in fact in some way, shape, or form agents of the state,
or at least political actors to some extent.
The extent of their responsibilities isn't really known by anyone, but it is sort of well known that to be a Shinshoku is not just to be a religious figure. There's more to it than that. The exact extent of it, like stories range again from assassinations to charitable works, things like that.
Yeah, like diplomats in a very, very gray area.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
I think I might know some people who can help us out. If we have some time to stop on Taco.
Sure, I don't think there's anybody in particular who wants to kill me there, so that's fine.
I am surprised.
I
to
don't
hear
have any
that.
problems at least.
It is a little surprising to hear that.
I mean, you'd think, right? But well, didn't
Um,
stay enough time to make friends, and if
Mhm.
you can't make friends, can't make enemies.
Retroactively, since Karis has kind of been holed away in his bunk, can I expend a use of hacking and cracking or something
Mhm.
to have intercepted and logged any of the stuff that's left and or received on the ship?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I don't think you need to roll for that. I think we can just, you've been on the ship long enough that I think that's something you would have instituted at some point. I think that just makes sense. If
I'll openly say Ellis is garbage
Yeah.
about internet sanitation, so
Yeah.
you know every single email he's sent,
Yeah.
including all 4 of his replies
Right.
to the phishing emails trying to get his bank account information, and he keeps giving them the ship's license number. And they're
Karis
like,
is
no, you have to
you.
buy the Target gift card, and he's like, what's a gift card?
Yeah, for sure.
Hold another. Too dumb to fish.
Yep. Yeah, so I think it's fair to say that any transmissions on or off the ship, Karis has access to. If anybody in the future states that something that they were communicating was encrypted, then you might have to roll. But assuming that everything is just going over normal channels, yeah, I think it makes perfect sense that Karis has already been logging all of that information. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Our destination,
Mhm.
and I would like to relay to Taka that we are heading to Scrapper HQ.
Okay.
And there's a great bit of info we would probably like to get.
Yeah, you can pass that on for sure. What's the information that you'd be looking to get from the temple?
Not from the temple, from Scrapper HQ.
Oh, from Scrapper HQ. Okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. That sounds totally good. So, yeah, that would beg the question: are you all planning to set a course? Well, first let's cover the let's finish up the meeting. Is that pretty much the end of what Maeve wanted to communicate? Because basically the points you've covered so far were just that you're headed to Earth. And you asked if anybody knows anybody who might be able to find information. Don't believe you mentioned anything about Grace's storage or anything like that. Are you keeping that close to the chest or sharing that with the boys? Oh, you're muted, Jen.
I said they don't need to know.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
They don't need to come to the unit. I'm gonna be the one who's gonna know what's what in it.
Okay. All right.
I
Maybe
know.
keeping secrets. Not season 2.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah. They just need to know we've got work to do at Earth, and if they can help us find Grace, that's great. And otherwise, I'll let them know when they need to know more.
We're all in this together. Cool. Very cool. All right, so you can start to basically, you've already basically set a course back to Earth. Ellis has keyed in the path you're taking to the ring gate, and basically once you connect to the rail network, your ship drives itself to your final destination. So all good on that front. The details of the job, we'll probably skip ahead a few days in that case. You reach the ring gate, the nearest ring gate, without really any issue. And from there, your ship is able to connect to the rail network, which sort of, supersedes your normal controls in order to pilot you safely while you are rail gunning across the solar system to avoid any collisions and to make sure that you are aligned with the next ring gate at speeds far too dangerous for any human to pilot at. So while you are doing that, while your ship is basically flying through the rail network, you've got a few days on your hands. It doesn't really sound like anybody has anything they're working on, personal projects. Like this would be a pretty good time for downtime, I would say. I know some of you, well, may have finished her personal project. I know Jaxper has one.
Yeah. And I do need to have that conversation with Karis.
Cool. Deli, could you move your microphone a little bit closer?
Sorry about that.
You're good.
I do need to have that conversation with Karis.
Yes. Okay.
And also be working on my personal project.
Who'd we lose? We lost Tayo.
Whoop. Sorry, I accidentally clicked the wrong button.
You're good. You're good. I'm currently you. Just so you know. There
what
it is.
happened?
There it is. You're good.
There we go. Oh, hurrah!
Welcome back. Okay, cool. You do you want to have that conversation now, Jaxper?
Yeah, while I'll have like running in the background, sort of going through 16's, going through Shervin's memories. But then I'll go talk to Karis.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'll find him. He'll be like in the pilot's chair, and I'll just sort of like show up next to him like I always used to.
I take the VR set off and just hey.
Hey.
How you feeling?
All right.
Haven't seen too much of you this past couple of days.
No, I suppose you haven't. You're used to getting a much more up close and personal view, aren't you?
So you found them.
Yeah, I fucking did, buddy.
Meant to talk to you about that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's been a little awkward. If it helps, I had the best intentions. It was really the only way I could bring you back. You scared me, you know, when that laser fried you. I had no other way of
You know I can read your clock, right?
I have a clock?
Yeah, your nanites have an internal clock. So you know, I know when they went in because of their clock. So I know that you put them in me when mine shut me down when I was trying to bring back Fuckface McGee. Now, I don't know, out of character, I don't know if this is Tayo not remembering when it happened or Karen.
Oh, I actually no, this is Tayo, I guess, remembering incorrectly. I thought that's when I did that. I don't remember now. Fuck.
No, it was when Jaxper first, like, his nanites just fully shut him down when he was trying to revive the man that Ellis had gut shot in like the first or second episode.
Oh shit!
You mean Fuckface McGee?
Fuckface McGee.
Neville shithead.
You guys,
yes, Neville.
there have been so many Fuckface McGees. You're gonna have to use names.
The original.
There
Neville.
are lots of
Neville.
Yeah.
The one who decided to fuck around, so then he got to find out.
Once
He
again,
found out.
not nearly specific enough for the NPCs that you've encountered thus far.
A lot of people try and fuck around on Alice. You're right.
Yeah.
So,
They all find
but
out.
this was the first. He had the
Yes.
novelty of being the first. Anyway, so we can go back and say that and do that with slightly less like gotcha.
Wind it back a
Yeah.
little bit.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's been a long
So-
time since that happened.
It's been literally
No.
40 hours almost of game time since that happened.
I scared you, right?
You did scare me. Oh gosh, now how do I spin this? Because Tayo has a bad memory. Okay, all right, I got it.
Okay.
And believe me, I am thankful for the restart. But if you can like send yours out and do stuff with them, right? Why couldn't you call them back? Why'd you leave them there?
Who were and still are an unknown quantity. And don't take it personally, but I tend to not trust very many people. And you know, when you think about it, you don't get to meet very many nano bros. I wanted to learn more about you. I invaded your privacy. I understand. If there's anything I can do to regain your trust, if I had it at any point in time, I will put in the work.
Who made you?
Oh, this is I think this is a conversation we should maybe have with the rest of the crew.
Really? The whole crew?
Oh my.
Yeah?
Do you want everyone to hear about it, or are you just stalling for time so you can make up some really good stories?
I think that, again, the rest of the crew deserves to know who I am. Give me some time.
You can tell me
This is rough.
right now. You can tell me right now. And we can keep on fucking moving. Or you can not tell me right now. And you know what I'm gonna do? Karis?
What are you gonna do, Jaxper?
I'll fucking leave.
And go where?
You won't know. I severed that connection. You won't know. Maeve won't know. Ellis won't know. Nobody'll know. I'll go. I don't need to fucking be here.
You don't, but Maeve
But
needs you.
Yeah. You're right. So if you want to keep this shit together, you get to tell me right now. Because otherwise, we die, I'm out. And if you think that with 4 separate iterations of my prototype cohort inside this vessel, I can't get anywhere I want to go, you got another thing coming, buddy. So, tell me, who made you?
I'm a product of the, Actually, you know what? Call the rest of the crew.
Okay.
You all get a ping from, you all get a ping from Jaxper.
Yeah.
Calling you down.
Lunch meeting.
It's supposed to be a couple days later, right? This isn't like just after the last one.
Yeah, this would be happening at some point during your journey. So we'll say it's about a day later, shall we?
Okay.
I think probably Jaxper's patience ran out sometime on the second day of ring travel.
That sounds in character.
Yeah. So yeah, you both get a ping. I think by this point also I will state that your job information has come through. This tattoo is driving me insane. Sorry.
Slap it. Slap it.
I know. I don't want to do it on mic because it's going to sound terrible. The job information does come through. It's basically there's just been a report of a derelict craft that was spotted by some corp vessel as it was passing through. Standard practice is to report it to the Scrappers Union, and Hugo basically assigned it to you all. So you're supposed to just hit it, strip it for parts, anything valuable on your way to Earth. It's gonna take you out of ring gate travel sooner than you need to be. It's not going to be the most expedient path to Earth, but it will get you there with a minimal delay. Anyway, you're on your way to that when you all get this ping, and you're all free-ish because the ship is on extreme autopilot at the moment. Probably recommended in general to stay out of the cockpit during rail network travel anyway, because it is hella disconcerting. But yeah, anyway, you all presumably report to Karis's bunk. It is not big enough for you all to fit inside, so I imagine Maeve and
stands outside.
Yeah.
Can we do like the mess hall?
For sure. If you would rather just summon everyone to the mess hall, we'll just put you all back in the same spots you were for the last family meeting.
Family meeting, everybody.
You got one of those Ma Delaney casseroles in the reheater as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So Jaxper, it looks like almost fuzzy around the edges because he's just
hair on end, just
furious. Yeah, hair on end, except it's lightly tinged with green.
Oh, that's familiar. Y'all would y'all saw that before.
Oh boy.
Don't know how you feel about that, Maeve and Ellis, but
Hey, so Jax, you ready to report the ship? What the fuck's going on? You look about ready to light up a Christmas tree.
Everything is fine. Also, there's just a lot
kind
more
of fine they figured out. Hadn't heard of this one before.
Listen, there's a lot more of them right now, so the light show is going to be a little more glossy. All right, cut this shit out.
All right.
Like you see it sort of dims a little bit. So, Karis, who built you?
Oh, and Ellis spins a chair around backwards and lets it down.
Okay, I guess I am just gonna have to pull the Band-Aid off. My name is not Karis Mori. I'm not a scrapper. I've never been a scrapper.
Well, I mean, you've done a bunch of scrapping, son, so I think you're a scrapper either way. But
thank you, Ellis.
Okay, then if you're not Karis, what? Why?
They were Karis. Is Karis a real person?
Well, there was a real Karis in the
Karis was a real
pilots
person
that Grace picked from possible crew. So what you just like?
So what happened to the real Karis? Not Karis.
To be frank, I don't know. I was placed
bad sign for Karis.
with. I was placed with the Nephilim under witness protection.
Whose witness protection? Which agency would that be?
All right. This is fucking fascinating. Witness protection. Okay.
Fuck everything.
Who built you?
What
Nobody.
Can I get an addendum to that? What do you mean by built? Most humans are built the same way. Last I checked. I mean, there's an alternative, but it's pricey.
He's not.
No one built me. I'm human. I'm just augmented.
Getting conflicting information.
I am an augmented human.
You're an augmented human the same way I'm an augmented human.
Oh,
What?
fucking, oh, god damn it. Does everybody have nanites? Maeve, do you have little robots?
I'll actually manifest a couple of my nanites and
Mhm.
show them to everybody.
Beginning to feel a little relical here. I'm just saying.
What?
Oh,
Okay.
here they are. They're a little bit different from Jaxper's. I don't think I've ever really described what they look like in my head. They look like tiny dragonflies that or you know what? Well, let's actually say fireflies. Let's say fireflies that glow a slight blue when I want them to, since that's kind of the whole color scheme.
Mhm.
But you've met the Puritans.
Yeah, Matt is a word. Developed a blood fucking feud against is another one.
Yeah, they really did not like me. I don't understand why. I'm fucking
Feeling
delightful.
is
Well,
aggressively mutual, but yeah.
They didn't like me or my family either. Just I don't open up to people very often, so just bear with me. It's a little traumatic. When I was a child, the Puritans more or less eliminated my family. My father specifically was the target. He was he made these. I'll flourish my nanobots. My father was not necessarily he was a bit of an unsavory person. Dabbled a little bit in, aside from nanotechnology, more human experimentation. The Puritans were not having it. These nanites are all I have left of my family. The Shinshoku of Taka took me in, shielded me. About a year and a half ago, the Puritans caught wind of my trail. And so they hid me in the furthest reaches of space.
Wait, to
Nope.
just clarify this point a bit, the Puritans were going to take on the Shinjoku? I mean, I certainly would say that I'm quite a capable person, but I feel like an entire group of warrior monks are better able to protect you than one asshole on a scrapper ship. I don't know, was this for anonymity, or so that there didn't have to be a conflict, or?
It was placed on the Nephilim as protection, to hide. No one's going to know about this scrapper vessel.
Or was Grace informed? Did she know that this was part of the plan?
Grace wasn't in on it.
Well, that's a first. Seems like she's on everything.
I'm
So-
gonna do a thing
Ooh, what are you gonna do?
real quick. I'm gonna use Brain Spike.
Oh. Okay.
Are we doing PC on PC combat? 'Cause
Actually,
I
Is
left
it
my
about
gun
to
in my
go
bunk.
there? I
don't-
mean, we can go there, but
Well-
because
I
I
mean,
think
Brain
if
spike.
Jax doesn't, Maeve is gonna. So someone's coming down hard on Karis right now.
One.
so. What it looks like, what it would Actually, hold on. I'm gonna just roll a scope it out thing to see if I think he's lying at all.
Okay, I don't actually think this would be scope it out, because scope it out is like reading more of a situation. I think what this is going to be is Karis rolling manipulate, and the outcome
Okay.
of that roll is going to determine how people feel about this. So
I also do want to clarify, Ellis at this point doesn't fucking care.
yeah, I
Like,
believe
mostly
that.
it was out of like curiosity. Like I
Right.
100% agree that like Maeve and Jax would be like, "You lied to us," and Ellis is like, "Fucking of course he did. Fucking Maeve's got a secret organization MLM that she's ripping people up with, and
No,
Grace
no,
was
that's
the
not
ambassador
actually
to
what,
Paraguay. Everybody's got secret
Oh.
lives. Fuck it."
That's not actually what Maeve is pissed about.
Well, we'll get into it as it comes up. Karis, roll slick.
All right. And
It's a 9. That's pretty good. For manipulate, that is going to mean their PC, which means that each of you gets to choose one. You can believe Karis and mark an XP, or you can keep your cool to disbelieve.
Oh, I absolutely believe him.
At
That's not a problem at all.
disadvantage.
I'll take the XP, and I believe everything he is telling
Okay.
us right now.
Cool.
I just have
I'm gonna-
feelings about it.
I'm gonna take
I'm gonna-
the XP from the perspective of I don't care.
Yeah, right. That makes
Ellis
sense.
is like,
I'm rolling.
sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll to keep my cool. It's at disadvantage, you say?
It is at disadvantage, yes.
The 7.
That's you rolled 2d6. You got to roll 3d6 and take the two lowest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're
I
good.
thought I just.
An interesting system.
Okay, so that's actually a 9.
Yeah, that is a 9.
nice.
So yeah, you succeed. So I think regular keep your cool stuff comes in. You choose one. You have disadvantage going forward. You suffer a stress, or you give up something, leave something behind, or take something with you, and I will tell you what it is. But yeah, you don't fully believe that Karis is on the up and up.
I'll say I leave something behind.
Okay.
Is it your trust for Karis?
I think what you leave behind, because I get to decide what it is that Karis, you can tell that Jaxper is not buying this.
Yeah.
So not only does Jaxper not buy this, but his face shows you that this is not done. This is not going to stop being a problem.
So, on that note, Maeve is going to ask, so let me get this straight. This terrorist organization that apparently has been searching for you since you were a kid found you. So you hid out on our ship, and then they came and took the captain of our ship. And you're just telling us this now? Like you didn't think it was relevant that a fucking terrorist organization came looking for you before you hid out here?
I didn't know what
Fucking
else
lie.
to do. They eliminated my
fucking lie.
family.
Yeah, and now they took Grace, and it's probably because of you.
Well, now, to be fair, Maeve, none of us knew that it was appearance that took Grace. We literally just figured that out. And Karis
Yeah.
and I were knocked unconscious pretty immediately.
I'm
Oh,
just
Karis, what
saying,
is your actual
he's been
name, by the
running
way,
from an
on your character?
organization.
If we get to Taka,
If.
when we get to Taka,
Ellis immediately goes and checks like the panel that demonstrates whether she's like, fucking I mean, your confidence is astounding, but fine, fucking still good to go, bud. Jesus. You're right, though. You're right.
I think the Shinshoku can help us find Grace.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
All right. There's
at
an
this
easy
point-
way. There's an easy way to do this. Jaxper is going to now. I'm going to do the brain spike thing.
Okay.
Jaxper is going to actually reach out and snatch one of the little fireflies out of the air
Ooh.
and use that as the uplink.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Alice is going to serve himself a bowl of casserole.
Yeah. You can help yourself to the casserole.
Fucking. All right.
There's a tense moment, and then the oven dings, indicating that the casserole is finished. And then
Excuse me, pardon me.
yeah.
Excuse me, pardon me.
Yeah, so you're gonna roll with volatile, which Jaxper's not good at.
No, Jaxper's not good at volatile.
No.
Also,
No.
this absolutely qualifies as lashing out and acting lashing out. So I'm
Yes.
spending some storm to have advantage on this roll.
Okay.
Also, because I had a completely full storm track and I cannot afford to take more storm.
Yeah, there is that.
Okay. Okay, so that is actually a 14.
Literally the
Woof.
highest you could roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
That's rough, buddy.
So what happens if I use Jammer?
Okay. So, give me a second. I have to look at some stuff here. Oh, God. All right.
That's not how you saw your day going, Will.
No. I mean, this is
wasn't made to contest.
full disclosure. I prepped very little because I was like, they're going to yell at each other for 4 hours. This is going to be easy. So
And then I took a hard left.
no, you're still yelling at each other. This is exactly on track for what I thought was going to happen.
Jaxper's just yelling with his fists.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
way he do.
Okay, I think
Not my fists, my mind powers.
Your mind fists.
My brain
Your
fists.
brain fists.
Yes, thank you.
we're
Pretty
gonna.
sure you did mechanically grab a firefly and are now shaking it down for money, though.
Yeah, that is kind of what's happening.
Okay, what's your slick, Karis?
+3.
Fuck yeah.
If you can roll Jammer, and if you get a 14 or higher, which is technically possible for Karis, then you can jam what Jaxper is trying to do. However, Jaxper rolled the highest possible thing he could have rolled. So that is like, normally I would say, all right, we'll see how this all shakes out. But given that Jaxper rolled the highest possible thing he could, this is going to be really hard for you. So if you roll a 14 or a 15, which mathematically you could do, you can jam this. But otherwise, no.
Oh, what have I got to lose?
Yeah, go for it. We're playing to find out what happens.
Yeah, right.
My
Especially
child
because I
is
have
man
zero
water.
idea how I'm going to play this off when I inevitably fuck up.
Word. And we'll take a break after this. So
So, roll. Just a flat roll or with disadvantage or...
neither. 2d6 plus 3 is going to be a
Sweet.
roll.
Come on, Dice Maiden. 13.
So
Oh,
close.
so
God!
So close.
So close.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do have some options. I get to hold 2.
Uh-huh.
When I spend a hold to choose what I want to do, you have to either submit or you can choose to take 2 harm.
Mind fists.
You can resist and choose to take 2 harm.
Nanites battling it out in their minds.
And basically, all Jaxper is looking for is the truth.
Yeah, I think also I will say, Karis, just in terms of flavor for this, something's different about Jaxper. You have not come in contact with Jaxper's, nanites. Your nanites have not interfaced with one another since the events that unfolded in the interseason finale, and that means that you reach out to jam Jaxper's connection to your information through your nanites, and because everything's linked back to your brain, right? And Jaxper just sort of like brushes you aside. Like you sort of reach out to interfere, and the presence, the force of will that is Jaxper behind the nanites, it just seems far larger than it has to you in the past. Something's different. Something's changed. But anyway, what is Jaxper? Jaxper's just looking for the truth, which means that you can either choose to reveal it or you can take 2 harm.
I'll take that harm.
Ooh.
It would be revealed just to Jaxper.
Yeah.
Like, he's not commanding that you say anything.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take the harm and I'm going to ham it up.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Okay, so you've got 2 hold. You pillage their thoughts, ask a question, get a transfer. You still have another hold, by the way, Della. But when you spend hold and choose, either submit or take 2 harms, ignoring shield and armor. Okay, cool. So I assume Karis didn't have any harm, which means you're gonna be at I'm rattled.
I have just a scratch ticked, but I don't know how any of that works because
that would have left already.
Yeah,
just a scratch would have resolved at the end of the scene.
Just a scratch clears up at the end of the scene, so you're good from that. But yeah, you are definitely rattled, for sure. And you don't have to act on that if you don't want to, because there's no outward sign of harm. You're just rattled. But if you want to, you can.
Jaxper grabbed one of the nanites, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you squish it?
No, he's just holding it. He's just holding it in his hand. He didn't squish it. He's just has to be in physical contact with something to have a chance to use his power.
Spike the brain.
To spike the brain.
Mm.
I have a thought for I'm rattled if you want to hear it, Karis.
Okay.
My thought is that, in order to sever this connection, the only thing you can do is shut everything down, which would include your visual interface and your nanites and everything. Basically, just if Jaxper is going to try to access your brain through the connection that you have to your nanites and everything, then the only option you have left to you is to just shut everything down.
I kind of hate that, though.
Yeah?
But also, I've kind of dug myself into a corner, haven't I? Wow,
Yeah.
I hate Karis.
Not permanently, I don't think. Right?
And I mean,
like,
I will say that I think, what Karis is doing makes sense. If you are a shadowy operative, you lie when somebody asks you if you're a shadowy operative.
You're right.
And if somebody tries to pillage your thoughts to find out, you do whatever you have to do to stop them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, as you grab the nanite, I'm going to kind of collapse a little bit. Jaxper, you're hurting me. And I am going to sort of, I'm going to ham it up and kind of appeal to,
You're that devoted? You're this fucking devoted to hiding from us?
Who are you appealing to, Karis?
Maeve.
Oh, bad choice.
better than Ellis. Ellis.
Not a lot of other options, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I went cinematically. He's fucking Cypher from the Matrix, leaned back in the kitchen we're all bastards in space, huh? Just literally.
If Karis specifically tries to basically
tagline,
basically sort of be like, Maeve, help me. Maeve is just going to look and be like, unless you hear anything about Grace, don't talk to me. And she's actually just going to leave the kitchen.
Oh boy.
I'm trying to find Grace.
trying to find Grace.
I can help you find Grace.
And
Yeah.
you're gonna.
– It's too late. Maeve is just like, Maeve fully blames Karis
Maeve's out
for
of
the
the scene.
situation.
Yep.
What's really-
So him fixing it now is like the least he can do. But like does not fix the fact that it's created the situation in the first place.
It's not
in her mind.
Well, so Maeve is not Maeve is not part of the scene anymore. So Maeve is not a
Nope.
conversation option essentially.
Nope.
Now
okay.
It's just Jaxper, Karis, and
I just
Nicholas.
fully walked out.
Yep.
Did not even hesitate.
Like at this point, Ellis like seeing the two of you staring at each other, and I was like, "Oh wait, shit! There's something supposed to." Right, no fighting on the ship. Don't make me clean up robot parts or whatever the fuck it is you all spill. I don't want.
I'm not a robot.
Everybody's a fucking robot as far as I'm concerned, Focaris. Fuckerus. Anyway, I'm going back to the bridge.
Fuckerus.
Ellis also walks out of the scene.
Okay. All right, Jaxper and Karis, you are alone on the bridge or in the mess essentially. You can do whatever you want, Jaxper, but yeah, your information has been cut off. You do have a hold left, but the Karis interfacing with Karis in that way is not an option currently.
You're that devoted to lying. If you are that devoted to lying, I can only assume that you do not have our best interests at heart. Understand me. I don't want to be Elliot. I don't want to be the guy who made you break your faith on a bulkhead. But that guy lives inside me now. He's still alive, and he has opinions about what I should be doing with this, about what I could be doing with this. I thought when I met you, I didn't have to be alone anymore. And now, I know.
Well, you're never going to be alone again.
Your presence on this ship, in front of me, inside me, has never made me feel more alone. You are an absolute black hole, dude. And if you don't get your shit together, you don't figure it out, you're just gonna die pathetic like you lived. And he's gonna flick the nanite back at you and walk out.
Tink, tink, tink. And as leaving Karis, as he's always been, in a way, completely alone. And on that note, we're going to take 5. And we'll be right back. So, in the meantime...
Also, y'all rock.
Yes, that was very good.
What?
That was a very good. That was a very good scene. Well done, everyone. Yeah, we'll be back in 5. Just gonna take a break, refresh some drinks, use bathrooms, etc., etc. So don't go away. Thanks for sticking with us. See you real soon.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. We're gonna get right back into Nephilim. our season premiere. So, Karis was left alone, on his hands and knees in the mess. Nanites deactivated, augmentations deactivated, being told off by the rest of the crew, and basically, yeah, left alone exactly the way Jaxper described he would be if he didn't start trusting people. With that in mind, I imagine life on the Nephilim probably resumes, unless Karis, I don't know if you're basically just gonna lick your wounds, get everything back online.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna lay low for a little while.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I imagine there's not much to be seen of Karis for the next day or so, which is about how long you had left before you reached your job site. You get an alert, all of you, across the ship that basically indicates that you're dropping out of the rail network, and control of your ship is returning to you. So basically, you as you approach the end, as you approach the next rail gate, the ship disengages and you regain control of it, and you're basically able to steer it off course. It requires some degree of skill, but it's not a huge undertaking or anything like that. And yeah, the coordinates that you were given by Hugo, the Scrappers Union, you're able to follow them, and you do in fact find a derelict vessel, basically just free floating, drifting. It's not, there are so many of these throughout the solar system, just sort of left there. Sometimes the crew made it off, sometimes they didn't. But pretty safe to assume, based on the age of this, the apparent age of this vessel, that if there was anybody left on board, they're not there anymore, one way or another. It appears to be a coalition ship for sure. Probably not military, you would guess. In fact, it might even predate World War III. But it's just sort of floating there, and you guys know your job. Now, generally speaking, from what we've established in the past, is that your normal scrapper setup, Karis is your pilot, and Ellis usually controls the interface for your grabby arms. Now, there's lots of valuable parts to be had from a ship like this. One of the main ones is just the metal of it. And, the standard practice, you do have the hold of the Nephilim, and it's constructed in such a way that you can basically tear bits off of the ship and shove it in there, essentially, and then repressurize it once it's all sealed back up. So,
yeah, let's get to work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we established Ellis normally maneuvers the scrapper arms.
We did.
Yes.
All right, cool. So yeah, pending any sort of unexpected difficulty, this is not a strange task for you all. You're pretty used to this.
I establish early, we're not getting on the ship. We're not going to go cruise around it. We're just going to pull it apart, stick it in our hold. Maeve and I will.
I think that was a Tayo laugh, to be clear.
Well,
yeah, I sort of envision it's like Jaxper and Maeve would be in suits and sort of be in the hold to get stuff.
Yeah, maneuvering stuff around. I think Jaxper's going to be incommunicado for most of this, because I have to go sing Edelweiss to my child.
Fair.
Which is a thing. Parenting doesn't stop just because you're pretending to be somebody else.
That's
true.
Out. As much as we would like it to sometimes.
I will be right back.
Sounds good. No worries. Jaxper's valuing his privacy at the moment. So yeah, y'all are in the suits. Y'all are sort of grabbing the floaty bits as they come into the hold.
We're all gonna be musical videos.
She realized.
Sorry, I thought that if you just turned it off, it would.
No,
it's okay.
Discord organizes it based on whether you have your video on or off.
Actually,
first, and then alphabetical.
I have a thing for this. You can just leave your video up.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
There you go. Okay, cool. So yeah, y'all get to work, and yeah, it is pretty simple. I think what I'm gonna want here is a couple of rolls, because I think Karis is gonna have to keep his cool to keep the ship, in the correct distance without getting too close or too far away. So you're gonna roll with stalwart Karis, and I think Ellis is going to have to act quickly. Actually, let's reverse those, because that would.
I was going to say, that's awful.
Yeah, that would mean that you were both serving roles that you are ill-suited for. So how about Karis rolls slick for act quick, and Ellis rolls stalwart for keep your cool.
You are a merciful space DM.
Well, it just makes sense for what you do on the ship, right? Hey.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Where was that fucking roll like 10 minutes ago?
Now,
it's been
Karis,
a long time. Ellis hasn't done the arms.
Yeah,
in a long time.
It's true. Wow, that's a very
your good luck
roll.
ran out.
Sure did, but
that's a 13 into a 15, by the way.
Know.
That's
that's impressive.
I'm so mad that I didn't get that last roll.
If you just rolled that on Jammer, it would have played out very differently.
Oh, man.
Man.
I mean, Maeve still would hate your guts, because then...
It's fine. That's fair.
Right. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, so you've got... So yeah, you are in the correct position, but the arms are just not quite cooperating with what Ellis wants them to do.
Maeve, when she fixed them, put them in inverted y-axis, and Ellis is just totally confused.
For sure. So,
Not a lot on my mind, okay, Ellis?
No, I like the idea better than Maeve's like, that's the right way. Why were you doing it the other way? Like, I don't know, up goes up. What do you...
Mm-hmm.
While I'm alone in the cockport.
I don't think you are alone in the cockport.
No, I'm in the cockpit.
I'm not. You're there.
The arm interface is also in the cockport. So
okay, I'll wait for later then.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll wait to murder the entire crew while they're distracted elsewhere.
You're not wrong.
I don't like that chuckle. That wasn't a denial.
And season 2 ends with a bang.
Yep. It only lasted one episode, but man, what an episode.
Season 3, when a whole new crew tries to find out what happened to the crew of the Nephilim.
Ellis's twin brother, Elvis Manalo, shows up.
Okay.
I feel like Karis is about to be written off of the show.
No.
Karis is making Karis decisions.
Yeah.
Karis is doing great.
Karis is the source of all the drama right now. Everybody else is getting along a little too well.
You're the character everyone wants to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have exactly one stan.
That's more than a lot of the other characters have.
Wow, rude.
Ellis doesn't have any fans, and that includes me.
Yeah. So here's how the scrapping goes down, right? You get your hands, you position yourselves perfectly next to this vessel. It's pretty flawless. You've done this a million times before. It ain't hard. And Ellis, you reach out with the arms. At that moment, Karis, you basically, Ellis, you start peeling back the hull to separate the panels out individually. It's going to take a little while, but basically you're just going to float them all into your cargo hold. As you do so, though, the scanner system, the sensor array that Maeve built, that Maeve put together as part of the upgrades on the Nephilim, starts going crazy. And as the hull peels back, Karis, you realize very quickly that what has happened here is that the hull is completely intact, but whatever made this ship inoperable, that made it stop here, ruptured the fuel cells. And this thing was basically just a pocket of liquid hydrogen that begins floating out as the panel peels back, which, that is potentially an issue for you all. It is potentially very hazardous.
Oh boy.
Do I put it back in? Maeve, what, where am I, do I jam, fucking, what do I do? And Alice, like, freezes as liquid hydrogen starts, like, rolling around the thing.
I guess I have to shut down before we ignite the liquid hydrogen.
That is a potential
We can
concern. Yeah, there's the engines,
Yeah, I power down. Impulse snow drive.
Okay. All right, yeah, you start to power down the engines as you
How big is this ship in comparison to our ship?
it's bigger than the Nephilim for sure.
Okay, cool. And we're
Cool.
otherwise kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. Very much so.
Okay, so then I'm just gonna kind of push.
Okay. The panel back on?
No, us away.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you just
I'm
start drifting
gonna-
away.
Inertia is a
Yeah.
friend
Yeah,
and a
that's
foe,
true.
And I'm just gonna.
I just
Fuck
enjoyed
off.
I just enjoyed the mental image of Ellis trying to be like gently like, all right, and that's right back on, and
Oh, I'm definitely
go.
doing that too.
okay.
It's definitely like we're just gonna put that back where it
Yeah.
came from, and then we're just gonna.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Karis the whole time is just like, Alice, just come on, just a little more. Yeah.
Yeah, the panel is definitely not going to form a seal again now that it has been,
That's fine.
off. So you start drifting back, but yeah, just more and more of this hydrogen is spilling out as you are drifting back, and like it's kind of starting to fill the general area in a way that like you this thing had a full tank, and as you are drifting away from it, it's sort of spreading out all over, basically following you.
I would like because Maeve presumably is smarter about this shit than I am, I would like to roll calculating for share expertise for her to have an idea about the safest way between her knowledge of engineering, technology, devices, etc.
I like
And
that,
then also the
because-
fact that she's been with Grace the longest and might have had some experience in a similarly dangerous situation with
Sure.
this kind of stuff, that she may actually know a way to deal with this.
Yeah, roll plus calculating.
Really, just imagine Alice like using the arms to like splash it away, but that seems
That's
like
a
a
9.
bad idea.
That is a 9.
Yeah. So, presumably, I can share expertise with a crew member, and they have advantage going forward when acting on that knowledge.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that is so. Were you rolling share expertise?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's from your intellect. The advantage is from
The
intellect.
signature move, yeah, the can basically hand that off
Right.
to somebody else. That's specifically an intellect move
Okay.
under the expert. The main thing that intellects do is that they have these other options of when you do a move that's covered by
Yeah.
a field of expertise, you can have these other cool options of things you can do.
Right. Okay. That's totally fair. I think Okay, you can give advantage to somebody, and you can decide who you want to do that to. Della's back. I'm going to turn off the MIA. There we go. And here's the interesting bit of information that I will give you, and you can decide what to do with it. In your cargo hold, you currently have a series of empty fuel cells. Do with that information what you will, and you can give advantage to somebody else.
I guess. Maybe Ellis, with the idea that our crazy plan would be Jaxper and I would sort of put these empty fuel cells out of the ship, and he would then use the grapper arm to like try and scoop up the nitrogen in these fuel cells.
Hydrogen, but sure.
You know.
What?
Perfect plan.
happened?
Oh, bad things happen.
So
So-
the ship is full. The ship that we went to fix, I cracked it like an egg, and it's full to bursting with liquid hydrogen. So that's spilling out all
presumably
over the place.
What caused the ship to become
So-
derelict is that their fuel cells burst.
We turned the engine off, and then we kind of just gave it a little
push to try and just drift out of the
Push.
range of these like globs.
But apparently they're like
That-
squirting at us. Like it's pressurized, and given the only hole we opened was next to us, it's kind of
Yeah.
shooting at us.
Yeah, a little bit.
Cool. This is,
I
this is
Dan
so
knows certain
rad.
things about liquid
Cool.
hydrogen, but this is far more interesting. I'm like, no, this is cool. Let's do this.
Yeah.
No. Pretend it's hydrazine, not hydrogen.
Yeah. We're just doing,
There you
rule
go.
of cool.
Where is the bad science reaction?
Okay. Yeah, Ellis is on it. He's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's hand fill some hydrogen fuel cells.
I mean,
Does one of us need to go on a spacewalk?
so that was the thing, is I wasn't sure if it should be Jaxper gets advantage to do this like spacewalk manually, or Ellis gets advantage to do this where we sort of like
Which is the better story?
do this by grippy arms.
Who does Maeve
like-
trust more at the moment?
I mean,
Sure.
Ellis.
Yeah. Obviously.
But
There you go.
I was saying that
Obviously.
more to Will, is that like, are the fuel cells remote operable by the arms, or does somebody need to go out there on a tether and use them like a big pail, scoop stuff up?
I mean, I think the principle is the same, right? And I'm also willing to say that, like, to make it a little bit easier, that one of the ways, because these are, fuel cells in this universe are filled in the oceans of Jupiter, the Jovian, mining collective and so on and so forth. So I imagine that these fuel cells probably have an intake setting, right? Because otherwise that's what you're doing. You're manually scooping them through, and that's kind of silly. Probably what gets done is you deploy them into the ocean in this like timed intake mode, which then like they just start suctioning up. And then, like, when they're full, they give a little ding, and then you retrieve them, essentially.
That's still some wild Monsters University tech, but frankly, let's go with it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I was about to say this sounds like laugh tanks.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're scream tanks.
Yeah,
They're scream
essentially.
tanks that fill with hydrogen.
Essentially.
And
None of us have ever been to Jupiter. We don't know how those oceans work.
exactly. I mean, Ellis has, but
Yeah.
Did you all see the moon that hit Jupiter recently?
I did not.
An asteroid bigger than Io struck Jupiter.
Oh, that's dope as hell. Yo,
The
send me the link to that.
Impact is it's like the size of Earth.
Oh,
It's pretty
fuck
horrible.
yeah.
So our bit's gonna fly off and hit Earth and put.
No, there's no bits of Jupiter. This is Jupiter's job, really. Jupiter keeps us safe. So everyone say thank you to Daddy Jupiter, because Jupiter keeps us safe.
Thanks, Daddy Jupiter.
Thanks, Daddy Jupiter.
Daddy
Jupiter is literally one of the reasons why we exist.
Yo,
Where's
clearing that nice big swath of space.
Yeah, Jupiter plus its moons plus its Trojans are the reason that we get a nice clean inner solar system.
Rolling with advantage.
This has been
Okay.
Science Facts with Live from the Apocalypse.
Just imagine how bad it would be if you played an Under the Sea game. You would not get me to shut up.
We'll get there.
Or me. That'd be great.
We'll get there.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll something to.
Yeah, I think that makes
Goop fuel?
sense. Goop fuel.
Scoop fuel.
Roll to goop fuel.
Honestly, Ellis probably has at least a little bit of experience with this, and frankly, he
Exactly.
would know what liquid hydrogen do as well. He was a Jovian miner for a time,
Exactly.
at least in name.
So she's gonna, I don't think Maeve knows that, because I don't think Ellis ever technically shared that.
Oh, I would have. Yeah, that was a
Okay.
secret. That would have been his.
So Maeve would,
where he was.
be like, hey, just like the old days.
Like old times,
We-
right? Throw them in the
gonna
arms
shove
and scoop
these-
it through the goo. And I'm like,
I'm gonna
that's not at all how this is done on the
shove
rig, but
out
sure.
and make sure they get positioned in the right place and grab them when they're full. And just
yeah, all right. Fucking
yeah,
OSHA's gonna love this one. All right, let's go.
as if the
Space
Scrappers
OSHA.
Union has an OSHA.
OSHA doesn't have jurisdiction over the Scrappers Union.
Jovian OSHA.
That's
Josh.
why you're all technically contractors.
That's right.
So
This is a
It's a
terrible
union.
union.
well,
Stalwart.
yeah, I think you I assume you're gonna do this like
Keeping my
steadily, not quickly. So roll keep your cool.
Yeah. My attempt, the thing that I'm trying to do realistically, is that it is not an infinite squirt gun of liquid hydrogen. So what Ellis is trying to do is, both in grabbing some of it and in the push that he gave with the arms, is like, okay, that thing can be a little bubble of liquid hydrogen around an old ship, that's fine. I'm just trying to grab enough that it's not literally going to cover us, and that way that Harris can kick the engines on again, and then we can move a little away. Because now this is a hazard cleanup site. This is a super fun site, and is no longer for scrappers. This is for the Space EPA, SPEPA. So,
Okay. All
that's
right.
it. All right.
Cool.
And I fail,
Ooh,
and I don't succeed, and I will mark XP again.
yeah, that is one higher than what you rolled last time.
Doing great. The arms, again.
Well,
inverted
you're supposed to be
y-axis.
rolling with advantage.
Yeah, you did have
Oh, am I?
advantage on that.
Yeah,
Ooh, okay, hold
that
on.
was my whole thing with the expertise, is that I'm giving you advantage.
Well, then hold on.
Hold
No.
the phone. Look at that.
That's way better.
That's way.
Yeah.
There's 14. He goes to do it at first, and then Maeve's like, wait, left hand, left stick, right hand, right stick. And he goes, oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
You know that scene in Independence Day where he takes the sticky, the little taped on, just
Maeve
reverses
runs
it?
up to the bridge
It's
and
that
just
scene.
turns it upside down like, oh, yeah, all right.
Right. That's obviously what's going on here. Yeah, you can definitely just sort of eject the cans that then start to intake the fuel, and yeah, when they're finished, Ellis can grab them with the arms. And
Cinematically, I think it would be pretty nice that Maeve is just like, hey, Jax, kick those outside. And
Yeah.
Jax would just one hands each of them and just yeets them out the door.
yeah, fully yeeted.
He does, in fact, yell yeet while doing so.
Yeet.
Well, in space, no one can hear you yeet. So,
If you yeet in space, do it push you backwards?
if you're not Jaxper, maybe. But anyway, you have some full fuel tanks now. You have some full fuel cells of liquid H. So
Did I and that's great. I'm glad for free fuel. That's
Mhm,
awesome.
mhm.
Did I also accomplish the goal of we're not in imminent danger
Yes.
of being surrounded in a bubble of liquid
yes,
hydrogen?
exactly. Yeah, you were able to clear the immediate area around you, which buys you a few seconds for Karis to basically throw the power back on and.
We're gonna kick it a beacon. Whatever the requisite regulatory beacons are for hey, this is a fucking fuel spill, and someone don't come flying through here because you're gonna pop like a grape.
Yeah, you can leave behind basically just it will you can leave behind something that will basically broadcast a warning until it dies.
Yeah, that's the idea.
but
We're gonna
yeah.
kick that.
We put out a giant wet floor sign.
Yeah, it's a big wet floor sign, and it's just
Hovers.
4-dimensional.
It
Yeah,
just
exactly.
tends over the
Right,
entire
exactly.
ship.
Yeah. There's actually
It's the less known and more rare a wet flammable explosive force level
you spit
that
out
shows a man slipping and falling and exploding.
right. You spit out a tiny planet with a cartoon Martian on it, and he's holding a sign on a stick that says, oil spill beware. Yeah. So you have the fuel cells now. You have free fuel, or you could try to, basically hand that over to the Scrappers Union in lieu of the job that you just failed.
Oh no! I mean, we're calling up Bruce because that's
Okay.
that's not on us. We didn't fail.
Wait a
This was
minute.
improperly marked. There's no. What's the process for draining an entire ship this size of liquid H? We're not set up for that.
They don't care.
Wait. Didn't we upgrade? Didn't we get like a
Shield.
No, I thought last time we upgraded the ship and got a
like a tether.
a cable.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got the tether.
We have the tether.
Yeah.
that is
Yeah,
true.
so can we like zap a tether onto it, or
And
spacewalk
haul
me
it
with the
out of
tether
its
on-
own liquid hydrogen.
Yeah. Or just spin around
We
really
also have,
fast.
I would like to point out, we also have a sensor array, so we might be able to use that to sort of get more information about
If there's an empty
everything going on
compartment
here.
or something.
The
Yeah.
sensor array is definitely what alerted you to the fact that there was liquid H spilling out all of a sudden. It detected that was the case. You can absolutely use the tether, but I do think we established that the tether is basically a harpoon.
Yeah.
So do with
And the
that.
ship is larger than us.
I mean, yeah, but it's space. You can drag it if you
Yeah.
have like.
We also have engines. It doesn't.
exactly right.
So,
So
if we start inputting inertia on it, we're going to pull it.
so you can
So
do
yeah,
that.
what would happen if I spacewalked in my thing and attached the tether to it? Because walking through liquid hydrogen would be very, like, IRL would be very, very cold and a lot of a problem, but it wouldn't, like, explode and kill me.
No, it wouldn't. But I guess I don't understand why you would have to spacewalk to insert the tether.
So we
you
don't
can
shoot
just-
the harpoon and
So
accidentally
that I'm not
ignite
shooting
anything.
the harpoon and
No.
accidentally igniting the ship.
Well, there is that, I suppose. Yeah.
Which I assumed
Um,
was where you were going with, hey, it's a harpoon. Look out.
Yeah.
Don't cause sparks. You'll blow everything up.
I was just reminding
Or
you guys.
just, like, shoot it through the engine block and destroy a huge part of our thing. Like,
Well,
let's maybe...
the nice
careful.
the nice thing about a system like this is that you don't have to worry about outsmarting me, because it all comes down to your roll. If you fail your roll while you're spacewalking, something bad is going to happen regardless. But you could also roll really well on shooting your harpoon, and then nothing bad would happen. So whatever plan you want to take, it's not a question of accounting for what I think is going to happen, because I don't know what's going to happen.
So, okay. So then we need to succeed in some way. So then, yeah, let's come up with the solution of, do we want to shoot a harpoon at the bubbly ship, or do we want to walk Jaxper over to the bubbly ship?
It's a great question.
Maybe you know more about harpoons, Jaxper, and liquid hydrogen than anyone.
All the relevant topics.
It's true, though.
True. It's true.
I mean, unless I roll another expertise, it's going to be just a fun. Who's doing what?
So, I mean, that's a good question. You would probably so basically, if you're just trying to give Jaxper advantage or something like that, you can do that with the same sort of roll you did before. Or actually, we could probably just call this lean on me to make it simpler, so you're not rolling the same thing over and over again, because you already kind of tapped into your knowledge of the situation and you already gave advantage based on that. So if you want to give Jaxper advantage, you can just roll lean on me. But that's assuming that you want to, launch Jaxper out. Basically, I need to know what you guys are going to do before I tell you what to roll.
Yeah, are you
Let's launch
Are you
Jaxper.
now-
I've had my shot. It's Jaxper's turn.
Sure. Why not? Let's just. It's Maeve's turn to yeet.
Nice.
Okay.
Eat me?
We are trying.
She's just gonna, and as far as like the lead on me mechanic, where it's like offer them a moment of comfort before, it's pretty much she's just gonna like look at him and be like, "Hey, you've got this. I've got full faith in you, and then she's just gonna whoosh.
Toss me.
It will.
Not the beard.
It will not shock you, says Jasper as he's like sort of floating over there with the javelin. It will not shock any of you to know that this is not the stupidest thing I've done. Not even recently.
Very true.
We're all aware you have access to grenades. Yes.
I rolled.
I don't have them with me.
Yeah, leave those on the ship, thanks.
Yeah, you got
So
an
I
11.
did roll an 11, which does mean that I'm helpful and supportive, and I get to choose 2.
So
My efforts help you. You have advantage going forward. I'm assuming you don't currently have a stress track?
No, I don't actually, shockingly.
Cool. Then I get to pick you aren't pushed to your limits or exposed to danger or complication for my efforts. I'm not.
yeah,
I
that
love
would
the
be
alternative to
That would
that,
be-
like, in telling him I believe in you, that you're pushed to complication.
Well, I mean, the thing about the existence of that as an option implies that if you don't pick that one, something bad happens to you.
Exactly.
So
That's what I meant. Like,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
bad thing that happens is that Jax returns around.
yeah.
Wait.
Okay. So you throw Jaxper out of the airlock basically, and Jaxper, you float over with this harpoon in hand, and as you reach the derelict hull of this old spaceship, you basically sort of like, contort your body as much as possible and just sort of slam the sharp head of the harpoon into the hull as it still stands. So you're sort of like in the midst of this this liquid hydrogen mass, and it doesn't feel good, but your nanites are healing you even as this liquid hydrogen is like hurting
I
you.
assume I'm in a spacesuit.
I mean, yes, but I think like it starts to you're feeling it through there. These are extreme temperatures that you're drifting through. So
Okay.
even as your body is experiencing that, your nanites are sort of compensating for it and raising your internal temperature. So yeah, you do that, and now you are sort of like, I assume you're just going to chill on the hull. I assume you're not going to try to launch yourself back.
I'll probably actually like hand over hand, like
Okay.
back up the tow cable,
Okay,
because I don't want to chill in the hydrogen
right.
because it's cold.
Okay. And I want you to roll to act quickly, but you do have advantage. That's with Slick.
Okay. Don't like that one.
Damn.
Oh well,
Jesus
all right.
Christ, you all.
That's 12
Yeah.
for me.
Looking good, looking good.
Yeah.
Good work,
Kicking ass
everyone.
today.
You're graceful, swift, and acrobatic, and you do it. So exactly what I described.
Yep.
And
He
yeah,
hand over hands up the thing and like does like a cool little kick flip into
Right.
back into the ship, and it's
Yeah.
just like problem solved.
you pull a piece of the ship's hull off, and then you basically treat the cable like a rail that you grind back as if the panel was a skateboard, and you land a sick ollie at the end of it.
Good
Yes,
old, like,
that is
Sonic.
exactly what I do.
Uh-huh.
Sonic hero.
Rolling around at the speed of sound.
Good work, everyone. Good teamwork. Okay. So you are basically, is essentially the plan here that you are going to drag the ship until it is out of fuel to leak, and then take it apart wherever you end up.
Correct, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
wait, no, that's a bad plan. Why didn't I just patch the hole while I was there?
Well, I mean,
It's full of liquid hydrogen.
yeah.
The whole ship.
The fuel was already leaking out. Like, you wouldn't have been able to put it back in.
Yeah, but I could have
Some kind of
patched it
Luigi's
and then we
Mansion
could move
back
it.
in.
Well, you could have done it that way.
Oh,
Either
well,
way.
empty it.
And if we try to scrap it, we'll just release it
Or-
again.
Right.
So you basically just start dragging
Drive
it.
around in circles.
Yeah.
You basically just start dragging it, and the fuel leaks
Donuts in
out.
space.
Yeah, you're leaving a
You just
trail.
kinda shake it out a little bit.
yeah. Shaking it once, that's fine. Shaking it twice,
Yeah.
that's okay. But
Shaking it 3 times, now you're just playing with your ship.
right, exactly. At a certain point, it runs out of fuel, and now you just have the hull itself. And now you can successfully take it apart and dismantle it. You have overcome this challenge. You have a couple
We're
fuel
going to leave
cells.
the harpoon, I think, wrapped in, because now we've already got that attached.
Makes
so,
sense, yeah. So you can just basically drag it. You can probably like winch it in so that it's closer to your ship. You're not quite, dragging it at the same distance.
Right.
Yeah. So you successfully have the entirety of that ship that you are pulling along behind you. It's shockingly a rousing success, and you got a couple extra fuel cells for your trouble.
Yeah.
Good work, everyone.
Yeah.
We didn't explode.
You did not explode.
Hell yeah.
We should just this is fine. We should find Grace and then just go back to doing this. This was fine.
Kind of
Turns out
nice.
we're actually decent at our jobs.
Yeah, I'd kind of forgotten about that because I was doing a whole bunch of stuff I'm not particularly well.
We were trying to
very
break
good.
into the petty
We're not
crime
space
business and
detectives,
not
we're
doing great.
Right.
Yeah, it's what I'm kind of designed for, but I don't like it very much.
Definitely
I'm
way
not
less
designed
cool
for it.
than grinding
you
a space
are
cable
not.
out of a hydrogen bubble.
Yeah, wasn't that dope?
That was Wicked Gnar.
360
Sure
no scope.
was.
Wait, in Alice, that was Wicked Gnar.
Yeah, it was.
Wicked Gnar. Yeah, right. So with this so basically, yeah, if you are hauling the entirety of the ship, you are going to need to take the long way back to Earth, which isn't, the end of the world. You're pretty close. But you won't be able to just hop back into the gates because that ship obviously can't compensate and will just be ripped apart in the velocity of the
Well, we're taking part of it apart, right? We're still doing some of the previously planned scrapping, I
Maybe.
assume.
I thought the thought
Scrapping it, or are we
process.
taking the whole ship?
Yeah, I thought the thought
Let's take the whole
process
ship, I
was
guess. Yeah, right.
I thought it was
Yeah.
you're saving yourselves the trouble. You don't have to take it apart if you can just drag the whole thing behind you.
Okay. I mean, if that works, yeah. I don't know what
Maybe
the Scrappers
we'll
Union wants us to
Get
do.
more for it if it's intact.
Yeah, either one is totally fine.
Wait, we're bringing something back intact?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Okay.
Madness.
So you would you make your way to Earth, and it takes you a couple more days than it would have normally because you've got the whole ship, but it's going to give you more of a payout for sure. As long as you
So
don't
maybe
get
Hugo will leave us alone for a while.
maybe as long as you don't get shortchanged or nothing. Anyway, you once you hit Earth, once you're well within sight of it, you follow standard scrapper procedures. Basically, you alert the union that you've got scrap for trade, and you would also let them know that it is there's a different procedure if it is too sizable to break Atmo with. If you just had some junk in your hold, that wouldn't be an issue. But with this whole structure, what they're going to do is probably send out a trawler that's basically going to take it off of your hands for you. So it's basically just a ship that's designed for orbital travel, but nothing beyond the ring gate or anything like that. Basically, just a big box that comes out, takes the entirety of that ship inside of it, and seals it up tight for the purpose of disassembling it and y'all getting your payout for it. Which leaves you with, the freedom to do whatever you want to do now that you are here in good old Earth.
I mean, Maeve's first thing is going to be going to check in with Hugo and see about that unit.
Right. So Scrappers Union, the home office of the Scrappers Union, I don't know that we established canonically, or I don't know that I established canonically with y'all exactly where it was, but it is, one sec here. Gotta check my notes.
Detroit.
It's not Detroit. It's the American Takamagahara. Oh, cool. I didn't define it. It's Texas. It's in Texas.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
That's where we're going.
Yeah, you're going to Texas.
Of course
Honestly,
we're going there.
well, it kind of just Sorry. It kind of just makes...
First we were in space Texas, now we're in real Texas.
Exactly. It kind of just makes sense, honestly, because that's where Takamagahara 2 connects to the Earth. So
Yep. As we established,
it benefits
There we
the Scrappers
go.
Union to have ready access to Takamagahara 2.
it's fine. That's only where Ellis is from.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has lots of friends.
I'm sure it'll be fine. You did say you were going to reach out to some of your old friends, didn't you? It was a great
I was
opportunity.
mostly looking for the ones who don't want me dead.
Wow.
The ones who do want me
Do
dead
such
definitely live
friends
there.
exist?
Yeah, does Ellis have that kind of friend?
Maybe.
Who can say?
I said it was going to be difficult.
Karis likes Ellis a lot.
Good. I think Ellis would be comforted to know that Karis likes him.
Yes, probably genuinely. Good. A friend who don't want me dead.
Yeah.
That's, put her on the board.
Okay.
Like Ma,
Mhm.
Maeve, Karis. Jaxper's like a maybe.
So, you got some options here. Basically, the question on hand would be, are you bringing the Nephilim down to Earth? Or are you gonna try to leave it on Takamagahara 2 and take the space elevator down to Earth? There are pros and cons to each option.
Yo, if we do not all right, what are the parking fees at Taka?
Yeah, that is valid. It is not cheap necessarily to leave the ship there, but it does save a tremendous amount on maintenance. As you might imagine, breaking atmosphere is hard on a ship.
I'm not sure.
Imagine it uses a lot of fuel too, but we did just get some freebies.
Did get some extra fuel.
I'm team
Yeah.
Park at Taka, personally.
Same.
Kinda same.
Partially because it's easier to run up the space elevator than it is to flee a spaceport.
Mm-hmm.
And, as
true.
far as I know, I don't have any enemies on Takamagahara, so double plus bonus. Meanwhile,
Counterpoint,
spaceport's a 60% maybe.
if we do have to run for any reason, our only means of escape is the space elevator, instead of being able to flee in literally any direction.
Well, at that point, you just steal a different ship, right?
Just casual
Okay.
ship theft.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're right, though. Yes, going up the space elevator is tricky.
Yeah. Totally cool. Totally fine. So yeah, you can absolutely set it up. Takamagahara 2 is a hub for scrapper trade because this is a very common practice, obviously. Much easier for scrappers to park their ships up here and then make their way down to the office than it is to just, constantly be like landing and taking off, landing and taking off.
Is there like a section of, because it also wouldn't make much sense, honestly, to take the material from a ship down to Earth
Mm-hmm.
to then take it back up. So is there like a section of the outer portion or like the docking portion of Taka 2 that is like dedicated to the scrappers? Like, is there like a place that we normally park where we like have, I don't know, a party pass or a permit or something?
I'll say this. I'll say that there's a discount. But no, Takamagahara is first of all, the Scrappers Union's pretty independent, and Takamagahara 2 gotta get paid. So
Yes.
while you get
No, I just figured that would have been paid like partially with like union dues or like because there's so much that's happening here that
right. Yeah, I mean it definitely entitles you to a discount. So yeah, you are contacted as you approach. You do have to basically interface with Takamagahara to control. H Takamagahara has a garrison of the Orbital Defense Force, which is basically the Takamagahara military sect. So you probably communicate with them. You basically explain that you're a scrapper. You transmit your license code to them. They run it against their database and they say you're good to go. So you dock up alongside Takamagahara 2 along with all the other ships. And yeah, you disembark the Nephilim into a much, much, much larger and more comfortable spaceport than you've seen on Independence, which is the last one that you went to. this place is bustling, to say the least. There are people coming and going of all types, wealthy people, very few non-well-to-do looking people around these parts, except for like a couple of elements of people who are performing various acts, playing instruments, things like that, and then maybe one or two people who ask you for money. It probably takes a second for your universal translator units to sort of like kick on now that you're in this environment. When you were on Independence, it seemed like pretty much everyone was speaking, roughly the same language. But obviously in the Takamagaharas, pretty much everybody is speaking Japanese at all times. So your universal translator unit takes care of that, but it does probably take a second to calibrate to what you were listening to. And in Ellis's case, he may have to just like slap it a couple times to get it to function properly.
He also has an incredibly strong Osaka accent.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously. You start making your way through. So the spaceport level of Takamagahara 2 is under the city portion, right? Because each Takamagahara is a space platform, but there is an entire city up above it, essentially. And they are these like bustling, very trendy, very advanced sort of metropolis. The people who are able to live up top in the city portion generally have more means, but there are plenty of people also who sort of live down here in the more space stationy sections of the Takamagaharas.
Can we establish what the population size of each of the Taka units is? Like how bustling are these things? How big are they?
Pretty big. Each Takamagahara probably holds several million people.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like New York size for each side.
Easily, yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And as you might expect with a space platform where people live, space is at a premium. Not everybody can afford to live here, and even fewer people can afford to live what's called topside. Technically, you wouldn't even have to go up into the city portion if you don't want to. If you're basically just leaving the ship here and then immediately heading to get down to Texas, you can basically just do that directly. I don't know. Are y'all planning to stick around for any reason?
I'm pretty sure Karis had plans on something.
I don't know. Is Karis expressing that?
Yeah, you get a very sarcastic ping from Jax. We're like, "Oh, you gonna check in with your Shinkoku buddies?"
Jaxper needed chill.
Jaxper has no chill.
That is canonically true.
I like the idea that all of you are kind of like figuring out where you want to go, like deciding, and like the two of you are communicating secretly. Maeve's maybe a little like struck because this is the first time Maeve's really been on a Taka platform, and it's kind of a big deal. And you turn around, and like Ellis already has like 2 Donburi in his hand and a beer, and is like, y'all's first time.
Yeah. I mean, Maeve's definitely.
Are you gonna share those Donburi though? Because
you can buy your own. Fuck off. They're right over there.
Well, where the fuck did you get those? Because among the many things I have no chill about, it's food.
There's a vendor for sure. Maeve
Ellis
is definitely
like in his element, like, oh hey, Japanese street food, sure. Because I like the idea too that like Ellis doesn't predate the Takamagahara platform at all. Like that's older than he is by a decent portion. And cultural exchange works 2 ways. Ellis grew up like in Texas around this thing, so like takoyaki like is like the equivalent now of like pork roast for Ellis too. Like 100%. He's this weird like 100% Texan, but with all like he doesn't need the universal translator. He speaks fluent but very bad Japanese, like that kind of thing. I love as a character aspect for him.
Also, there has to be like a Tex fusion.
Oh yeah,
Japanese.
Yeah,
cuisine.
Absolutely. Like Sino-Tex is absolutely like a huge like
Doku desu ka?
Yeah. Wakari masen.
Yeah.
All right.
So you are Yeah, I like that. That's all perfectly reasonable canonically. Maeve's definitely been on a Takamagahara. She's definitely been to this Takamagahara. She may not have been to any others because obviously she's been to the home office plenty of times with Grace. Don't know about Jaxper, but Karis for sure, and obviously Ellis too. So none of y'all are strangers.
Yeah, Jaxper's definitely. This is where he bought his last fake ID.
Okay, cool.
His last fake identity.
Nice. Yeah, generally speaking, generally speaking, logic or local wisdom would be that if you got to go to Earth, if you can stay on a Takamagahara, that's better than going planetside. So most people have been to a Takamagahara. But yeah, you.
Excuse me, I was thinking of the wrong thing because they called me out in chat for referring to something that comes in a bowl. I was thinking of Dongo.
Dongo.
Alice has 2 Dongo in one hand and Peter the other one. Excuse me, you are correct.
I
got my Japanese street food wrong. That is on me for being a stupid white guy.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your weeb cred, so I appreciate you.
No, I mean they're right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Karis, are you bringing up the idea of going to Takamagahara?
Yeah. I think the plan is to go deal with Grace's unit and all of that because I still very much want to go to Scrapper HQ because I don't know why.
Sure.
And stop at Tier 1 on the way back.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, you basically make straight for the elevator, and you they scan your identifications. They don't come up with anything flagged inappropriate or any outstanding warrants or anything like that. So you're cleared, and you basically hop on board with a lot of other people. As we previously established, it's almost like taking a commercial flight nowadays, right? Like you get your assigned seat, you strap in. You can watch out the window as you descend, and just a fairly short time later, you are in Texas. You step out into the station, and they check your identification again because it's sort of like going through customs, right? You left Takamagahara, now you're entering Earth, now you see where the 3 cloud logo of the sorry about that, Dan. You can't post links.
No, it's cool. It's fine. You don't have to read. Sorry, you mentioned this, and so there is Mexican, Asian, Japanese food.
Okay.
And so I was posting one because again, we've cred, right?
Yeah.
Sit in the Discord. People just have to join the Discord community.
You might just have to join the Discord community.
Quick side, before, or if I get any private time before we head out.
Sure.
I want to order a tail on all 3 of you.
I see.
What?
Yep.
Treachery.
I was like a foxtail or like.
Well, yeah, he's got to get into character, right?
Yeah. I was getting excited to adventure in future Texas, and I was like, wait a minute, nope, hold on.
I understand that we have culturally based all of the Takamagahara platforms off of sort of urban Japanese culture, but that doesn't mean that everything is an anime convention. You don't have to wear a tail. But yeah, you emerge into Texas. So you can absolutely order a tail on each of them, but probably not once you're out in Texas, once you're on Earth. When you head back up, for sure, yeah, you can have them all followed.
Honestly, you guys should click on. Sorry, I'm back to the game. You guys should click on that link when you get a chance to later. It's a really cool story of where taco rice comes from. Anyway, so this is an area that Ellis is from. I don't know if you want to use this as an opportunity for this, but if Harris orders a tail on Ellis, there's a chance somebody's already done that before.
It's true. It's true.
Maybe not from Taka.
Right,
Like it's
right,
probably not. If you're ordering one of your people
Mhm.
to get a tail on him, then probably not. But if you're trying to like pick up a random third-party criminal element to do it,
So
Let
it
me-
might have.
I'll say this.
Actually, reroute. I want to partner up and stick with Ellis since he's the one that like is cool with me, and I actually like Ellis.
Yeah,
I really-
genuinely to expand upon that a little bit, like Ellis has real problems right now. Oh no, Karis has nanites, and like I don't know, is 3 kinds of it. Whatever. He hasn't shot me yet,
Mhm.
and frankly, none of his problems have become my problems yet. And I now have a lead on Grace and these Puritan dickheads, and whatever story Karis is telling, it's anti-Puritans and pro-finding Grace. Fuck, all right.
That's true.
Like,
That's true. Okay. Do you remember, Dan, off the top of your head, which city Ellis is from? Because I know it was the one that the Takamagahara connects to. I want to say it was San Antonio, but I don't remember if that's true.
I think that's right. Hold on, let me go take a look.
Okay.
It feels right in my soul.
Yeah. In my soul as well.
I can see Jax's wheels turning.
Nah.
Yeah, we settled on San Antonio because it was a little further south than Houston. It's
Yeah,
still a
yeah.
main city,
Right.
and we were going for anything that's like as close to the equator as possible.
Yep, for sure.
Which obviously we're not close to the equator; we're still in Texas. But that's the southernmost, really major city in Texas.
Exactly. Okay, so in San Antonio is an interesting case study because you emerge out of the station into the bustling sunlight, the sun of San Antonio, Texas. Most of the major cities left on Earth in the wake of the Earth Coalition being formed and the party basically taking over everything, they survive because of the megacorps. They survive because they are basically factory towns on crack. They are basically where the workers for these corporations live, and you start working for one when you're a kid. You work until you die, relatively young, and then your children pick up the slack. San Antonio is a little bit different, though, because it is probably what would be considered a port city, right? Like San Antonio survives and does fine because it very specifically is where the Earth connects to Takamagahara 2. So it has its own economy, mostly built on tourism and travel and things like that, and also the Scrappers Union is headquartered here, and that's not nothing. So as far
It's
as
also the only connection for the Americas,
right, exactly,
both North and South America. So the
Exactly.
all the other connections are in Asia, Europe,
yep,
Africa.
for sure, that is huge. So the culture in San Antonio is very different. As far as American cities, as far as Earth cities are concerned, it's a lot better than most. It's also smaller than most, but it basically survives off of a hospitality industry and then the Scrappers Union.
We also did establish that this is one of the homes or one of the origin points of CNR. So this is where Colburn comes from too.
Yes.
So there would probably be a big Colburn presence here.
For sure. You are a little bit off-put, I think, after as long as you guys have been in space and then in Independence. Just the sheer size of the buildings and the sheer amount of people moving around you. There's all manner of dress, all manner of style. There are these, magnificent skyscrapers that, are, while they're beautiful to look at, fully well that honestly, they probably just exist to enforce, the corporate mindset that basically defines Earth society at this point. However, that does not include the Scrappers Union, which sort of has its own campus here that makes up not an insignificant portion of the city. It's a collection of buildings, and it essentially does have its own spaceport attached to it for ships that would prefer to land directly and deal directly as opposed to pass through Takamagahara for whatever reason. And it is such a campus, as you approach, that you are able to get access to. Now, if most of the cities in the world on Earth left now are factory towns, the Scrappers Union is a lot closer to what an actual factory town would be, right? A scrapper who comes here can basically, they can stay in the campus. They can drink in the campus. They can do all of this stuff on the union's property. Not for free, of course, but some of it is discounted since you are a union member. They got to incentivize that membership somehow. And yeah, as you enter and approach one of the buildings that houses the liaison offices, you've been here before. You know how to find Hugo. He has a tiny little cubicle of an office that is full of papers that are stacked sort of haphazardly around. He has a desk with a setup that he is squeezed behind currently as you approach. There's a cup of coffee and a donut sitting on the desk that only has one bite taken out of it. And he stands up and very cautiously, with a surprising amount of grace, maneuvers around all of the haphazard objects in his office to basically try to hug you, Maeve. He seems very warm and seems very happy to see you. And he says, Maeve, how are you? It's so good to see you. And he goes to put his arms around you, if you allow him to.
I'll allow it.
Okay, all right. He wraps you up in a big hug. Yeah.
Ellis walks over to the side table. Where's my hug, Hugo? You old sack of shit.
Ellis, I would hug you if I wasn't so scared of you. So, how about
I'll take as a compliment and an insult, and I'll thank you for both. All right. Now, about your ship, that was horrifying and dangerous, but it is here in orbit.
Well, risks of the trade, I guess. It was supposed to be
Okay, I mean, I'm not blaming you, Hugo. I'm not saying you set us up or anything. I'm just saying the thing was full of fucking fuel and almost blew us all to hell. So,
I hate when that
it was
happens.
kind of cool.
Well, good
yeah.
work.
Did anybody get footy of Jax doing that that rad trick? Anybody hanging out the backside with a fucking VCR?
I would love to see that. It sounds really, really cool. But I figure we probably take care of what you're here for, right?
Can I project it with my virtual interface?
Wow. I said it sounded cool, but honestly, that was not doing it justice.
You were being sarcastic, right? And then you saw it, and now,
yeah,
right?
No,
Really
I'm a better man for having seen that.
Yeah,
changed my world outlook. Feel more positive.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, we should probably do the thing.
Right, I can only keep
Grace's unit.
I can only keep the wolves at bay for so long. So let's get that out of the way, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he leads you across the campus at a fairly ponderous pace to one of the other buildings that essentially exists purely to operate as storage for the different crews and members of the union. Basically, just a full building full of caged off units, and he leads you through there, up some stairs, down a few rows of more of these cages that are full of just the wildest shit. Some of it you can't even account for. You look into one of them and you just see a human skeleton, and you're like, is that a Halloween decoration or is that,
right? Is that a model? Or
I couldn't tell you, but
is that an actual bear? Fuck.
Oh yeah, the bear is real. The bear is very real. But yeah, he arrives at one. He looks down at his handheld, and he says, "Oh yep, yeah, this is the one, Grace Miller, Nephilim." And he scans his thumb. The door opens, and you're free to enter.
I'm paying close attention to which pocket that handheld came out of.
Okay. Let me know if you want to do it.
This is Maeve's moment.
Yeah, Maeve is gonna go in and start looking around.
Okay, all right. It is full of junk, but a lot of it is just junk. A lot of it, there's like, a couch that she probably couldn't fit in the mess. There's like a rack that has just jackets on hangers in it. Kind of the normal stuff you would expect to find in anybody's storage unit. And they might be able to get a little bit of money for some of it, but for the most part, yeah, it's just junk. There's like a stack of boxes that have books in them. But like just books. It's a little frustrating.
I'm gonna do some sneaky nanite X-ray vision bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to scope it out?
I want to scope it out.
Go for it. That's going to be with calculating.
Scope this out. Bring up the dice rolling channel and not roll this on my character sheet this time.
Well,
The captions are calling it Nicki Minaj X-ray vision.
Ooh. Hey, guess what, guys? I get to mark an XP.
You do get to mark an XP. Good
Ooh.
work. It's just what Jaxper
Topical.
needs. Your Nicki Minaj X-ray vision fails because she's not here.
My Nicki Minaj X-ray vision. So actually, what I'm going to say is I actually do identify an inexplicable Nicki Minaj CD.
Right. Nicki Minaj.
You're able to view the entire structure of the thing, and you find the one Nicki Minaj CD.
Exactly.
The classical music that Grace has hidden away
Uh-huh.
underneath of a bookcase.
It's an unopened pink print album.
You don't find anything, Jaxper. In fact, you just sort of find more of the same. More junk.
I mean,
Alice
I
is
would.
looking for change in the couch.
You find
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
How's
I lost that
Maeve?
there.
How's Maeve feeling about this? Because you've been waiting for a sign or some answer, anything to indicate anything, and I can only imagine Maeve was banking on this to be that thing. And here you are, and it's just garbage.
I think she was reaching the point where she's pulling out individual books and shaking them to see if anything falls out. Grabs some of the coats and checks pockets and stuff, and it's just getting almost manic in her level of searching for there has to be something, some reason that Grace kept this junk here. And if nothing happens, eventually she's just going to let out a very frustrated noise and kick the couch, and then immediately regret it when her toe starts to hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
And just sort of hobble over and sit on the arm of the couch.
Yeah, Hugo whoa, is everything all right? What's wrong?
Or
Everything's
just,
fine. Give it a minute, Hugo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all right. He nods, understanding sort of dawning across his face. He says, I'll give you all a minute. And just kind of draws himself out to the corner.
Karis is going to do the same.
Oh, okay.
Maeve, are you okay? I mean, it's a stupid question. You're obviously not okay. But
Do I look okay?
yeah.
Just
No. We were looking for answers and hoping there was going to be here, but it's storage tank. When was the last time Grace even went here? Why?
I don't know. It might have been
well, hey, rather than looking for, the answer to where she is now or the connector to these damn Puritans, why don't you look around for something that might be important to you, Maeve? Something that might be important to Grace, too, when we find her. Because, again, a lot of this stuff's getting scrapped or junked or burned. And
I mean,
I think that's going to happen either way. So maybe look at this a little more personally about you and a little less about the mission.
you see anything here that looks like it particularly says Grace? I mean,
Not really, I can't say. Seems like, well, a bunch of junk. But I don't know.
Feel
It's
like-
our job to at least tear through it a little bit, see if there's anything pertinent, value, sentimental, or otherwise. Sure ain't in that couch that just broke your toe. So let's take a real look, shall we?
stupid fucking couch anyway.
I agree. It is a dumb fucking couch, and Ellis also like kicks the shit out of it.
It's ugly. It's a very ugly couch.
Is it comfy though?
No, it's kind of awful. I
Yeah.
haven't slept on it one time in this room. It's rather unpleasant.
I feel like the springs are broken on it.
It's got like the one side has the way deeper,
Mhm.
indent than the other side.
Look, sometimes you just have everybody has just a place they leave stuff that they don't want to think about. Like, he was just a normal person. I think in some ways that's probably a good thing to confirm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there another check that you think that we should run on this place? Again, not for
I think somebody else.
mission critical stuff.
I think somebody else should probably roll a scope it out.
I mean, I will do scope it out for Maeve to specifically look for something sentimental.
Mhm.
Ellis will also throw out a generalized scope it out. Now that he has Maeve focused on other things.
Let's see what we get.
Also fails.
Damn, Ellis cannot do a thing tonight.
So we were talking about slowing down progression, but I'm now at 8 XP.
Yeah, I mean, slowing down progression in terms of the after session stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
I
been
can
nothing
only-
but failures today.
I can only slow you
Maeve,
down so much.
fucking nails
Did.
it though.
You did nail it. So you get to ask 3 whole questions.
Cool. Who or what here is not what they seem?
Okay.
Just with the idea there is in fact something
For sure.
more than what we've heard so far in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. You find you're going through some of those boxes of the books that you said before. One thing that strikes you as odd as you're going through it is you find a Bible. You never once heard Grace talk about religion. And upon opening it, you see that it is a large section of the center has been cut out. And inside, you find a stack of weathered photographs.
What sort of stuff are they photographs of?
You start looking through them and you recognize Grace, but a lot of it is, it just seems to be things that she's collected throughout her life. Maybe people she's met, or just memories. Essentially, for whatever reason, she set these aside to hold on to. And you honestly, you flip through them. You don't recognize a lot of the people in them that you see, but you flip through one and you recognize a younger Rashawn Neville and Grace. standing together. That's just one of the snapshots. And it's very much like she's not really like, she's very clearly working in the picture. Like he's standing there, he looks pretty much the same, very put together, very poised, dressed up, and she's very clearly there as a bodyguard. She's wearing, like the all black look. She's got the sunglasses, arms clasped very professionally in front of her, et cetera, et cetera.
I think we've seen that photo before.
You have, actually. Yeah, it's very similar to the one that Neville showed you as proof, although he had a digital version of it. A lot of it, like I said, you don't recognize too much. There is one that you stop when you see it, Maeve, because you recognize it as your parents' kitchen. Back in Nephilim range, and you see Cass standing off to the side, leaning against the countertop, and Grace is in sort of the center of the photograph. Presumably, your dad is taking it because he's not in it, or somebody was, and your dad just wasn't there. Grace is holding a very small baby in her arms, almost gently. Well, definitely gently. Yeah.
Gonna pocket that one.
Yeah. The last photo in the stack that you come across is very easily the oldest of them. It is very wholesome. Give me 1 second to consult my notes here. You guys want to talk about Japanese food some more?
Japanese food or weird space happenings?
Yeah, either one, honestly.
Weird space
We're
things.
just-
Anyway, yeah, did y'all click on that link?
We're just
Cooper
Yeah, I
got
did.
nailed.
Did.
That was dope. That was real cool.
I'd eat it.
You'd eat Jupiter?
Oh, that link. I thought you were talking about the
Taco
other one.
rice.
The
Oh,
taco
yes.
rice one.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
clicked on both links. Both were good.
I
Both
have
were
not
good.
clicked on the Jupiter one. Let me look
Click on
up
the Jupiter one, it's good.
Smacked by a space rock.
Okay. The last photo in the stack is a woman that you barely recognize. In fact, it takes you a little while to figure out that what you're looking at is a picture of a very, very young Grace Miller. And she is standing next to a taller man. She is wearing a white dress. And this photograph has seen a lot of wear and tear. But she's wearing a white dress, looking very ladylike, very pretty, which is not a word you would have ever ascribed to the Grace Miller that you all knew. But there is a tall man standing next to her in a black suit with a hole burned by flame where his face should be. And flipping it over onto the back, you see that there's actually writing in a script, a handwriting that is not Grace by any means. I think that might be canonical. I think we did say Grace was Sigourney Weaver at one point.
We did say that Grace looks exactly like Sigourney.
Which says...
but more scars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
On the back of the photograph, it's written, Grace and Michael, 2068.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think
boy.
when Maeve finds that, she just like holds it up for the other two.
Well, I'll be a pig in shit.
Hold on. Let me see that. Jaxper is going to, at this, probably start running a whole bunch of scans and trying to match any aspect of this image to memories from the other iteration.
Okay.
Ellis runs a reverse Google image.
Yeah.
You know what I'm doing.
Neither one of you finds anything, unfortunately. None of the people currently living in your head, Jaxper, have met this individual before, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
And this does not exist.
I probably get a whole bunch of pictures of Shervin's wedding day.
Yeah,
actually.
for sure, probably. But yeah, Ellis, you find a couple like old like Facebook accounts that pop up in your reverse Google image search, but like you need an account to access them, and like you're not friends with them.
I lost my password to my damn Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't find it anywhere. I was pretty sure I knew the username at one point, but
yeah,
got away from it.
So no luck.
Might as well be locked, as tied up as knots.
True.
Can't get in there.
So, do I still have 2 more questions, or do we kind of treat that as like the 3?
Yeah, you've got some questions
worth.
What you want to know?
Ooh. I guess who or what here could be a useful opportunity?
Okay.
Like, I have all these photos. There's a lot of disparate information that we probably are gleaning from them. But, like...
Yeah.
What else could we be doing with this?
Great question. The photo of what you find with that question is the photograph of you as a baby, Grace holding you as a baby with your mom standing there in the kitchen. You notice as you're flipping back through them, checking to see if there was anything you might have missed, that the corner of one of the back corners of that photograph is peeling off very lightly.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
As in, like, there seems to be like something covering.
Like the back is stuck on, and there's actually something underneath it.
Ooh, I'm a peel that.
Okay, you peel that off, and you see what appears to be a handwritten message, sort of postcard style. From Grace. And it basically says, Dear Maeve, if you're reading this, I'm going to assume I'm dead. Or I can explain it to you, I guess, if I'm not. But assuming that I am, it's not safe for me to tell you everything in this letter. If I didn't have time to give it to you before I died, there's a secret drive hidden in the ship. That explains everything. Who I am, who I was, what I did, and why I'm dead. The Union will have told you by now that the ship is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. But I wouldn't trust anyone else to decide her fate. And then I think it's signed, See you around, kid. Grace Miller.
Oh, Maeve is like full on like crying at this point.
Jaxper's probably sitting there like rubbing her back.
Big feels.
And I think when she's like able to actually make words again, she's like, it was there all this time, And now they have it.
Yeah.
So we gotta get it back. And get her back. Right.
You make it sound so simple.
And it's not complicated, it's just hard as hell.
Only there was someone who could help.
For my final question.
Yeah, you do have one left.
I guess
My final
is,
question, what the fuck is Karis doing?
Yeah.
where is like the best way past, as in like route forward at this point?
That's a tricky one because I think Ellis kind of nailed it. This doesn't actually change anything about your situation. You didn't know exactly what the drive that Ava or Lucy or whatever took was, but you know now that it was left there by Grace in the event of her death. But yeah, I mean, you got to find that. You got to find Grace. You don't have a lot to go off of aside from that, unfortunately. I will say, you do have these photos of other people who potentially knew Grace.
Indeed.
That you could work on, trying to figure out who's in them.
Tracking people down.
I think Jaxper is going to try to do a thing. And
Brain Spike
try
Maeve.
to Brain Spike Maeve. No, not Brain Spike Maeve.
Brain Spike, the
but-
answer to all of the problems.
No more
Listen.
Brain Spike.
Listen,
it hasn't been a problem yet.
For
It's solved
you.
every answer so far.
No, it's been
Look.
great.
if you want Maeve to stop being sad, all you have to do is brain spike her and tell her to stop being sad.
I
You
did
know,
think
that's
about
a great idea. I'm not going to do that. Actually, what he's going to say is, look, the one thing that this does is actually change a little bit the likelihood of her still being alive. 'Cause these people wanted to hurt her, right? Like, this is personal. This is personal. So they weren't gonna kill her. So wherever she is, even if she thought she was gonna die, this increases our chances that she's alive a little bit. So there's that.
And I guess we don't really have any time to waste.
Sounds about right.
Nah, let's break some heads.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. But the questions first, maybe this time? Shoot after asking?
I don't know. If I meet a Puritan, I'm in breaking heads mode.
I mean, alright, okay.
Are we not? Are we not in agreement that Puritans?
No, we gotta find out
might
where
be
Grace
weird?
is first before we start making smeary puddles of people. Just saying. I'm not ideologically opposed to them. I'm trying to kill them to find my friend.
Okay. I get it. I see. Questions first, shooting later.
Yes,
That's
question
right.
first, shoot later. Right.
Oh, I see. Oh man, this is what I've been doing wrong.
Yeah,
You
entirely.
can't ask dead bodies many questions, Jaxper, if you haven't picked up on that yet.
Well,
You can, but you're kind of a special example.
Well, depends
yet.
on the body.
yeah, give him a little time.
That's right.
What awful things is Karis doing while all of this is going on?
Awful things is Karis up there.
I want to slip a drone into Hugo's pocket,
Of course, yes.
of course. if I can find somewhere to get as many of the Scrapper Union files as possible to relay to Taka. And I would also like to isolate all of the files the Union has on the Nephilim and Grace.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. That's definitely doable. You're going to do hacking and cracking, which means you're going to have to roll for it and discharge that move. So that's going to be with Slick. Roll with Slick.
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 11.
Nice. Okay, cool. You get to do what you want to do, but you're going to have to pick one. So it's going to take a while. You have to trigger an alarm or alert someone in order to get what you want, or you'll have to leave traces of your incursion behind that incriminate you.
It's going to take a while.
Okay, cool. So you're going to have to leave the drone with Hugo. Hugo is using a Union-issued device, and their security is not insignificant. The Union secures their own information, so it is quite an undertaking to actually get through this. You're not sure exactly how long it's going to take, but as long as the drone is not discovered, you should be able to finish the process, no matter where you are. Cool. All right.
I also definitely thought about dosing Maeve to make her not feel sad.
Karis.
Karis is going full off rails in season 2.
I mean,
It says I can create a toxin that disables, or
Did you notice that sentence starts with "create a toxin"?
I just didn't want her to feel sad.
Sure.
I still, like everybody. I just have a job to do.
yeah, obviously.
I need you all to get it together so that I can do my job. Now that we're coming to the end game.
Right.
Yeah, get it together so I can, manipulate you.
Coming to the end game. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. After like a few minutes, after like maybe 10, 15 minutes, I assume at that point Hugo is going to say, all right, I think that's been long enough. And yeah, he's gonna come back over to the unit and he's gonna say, all right, you good? You all good?
Yeah, I think we've got everything we want from the unit.
All right. Well, okay. I'll let the boys know, and they'll take care of this.
All right.
I'm a little bummed there weren't any cool, I don't know, guns or something.
Oh yeah, I mean the
That's
Union.
Me too, Karis. You're right.
That would be on brand for Grace.
Well, that's deeply illegal. She's gonna keep the guns hidden on the ship where they are.
As Hugo kind of is finishing this off, I am going to just kind of casually, because it's Hugo, be like, so what do you know about the Puritans, Hugo? Yeah, single nail motherfuckers, kind of erratic, zealotic, strange, fanatical.
I guess nothing except the stories that everybody hears.
Well, I mean, your rumors will be slightly different from others, most likely. But I mean, you never had any personal run-ins. You don't know anybody in the church. You're not a religious man yourself, sir.
No. No. I mean, yes, but nah. And he points to the yarmulke that he wears.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's not exactly my flavor.
Yeah, you don't strike me as a fanatical Christian terrorist, Hugo.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I
like that this is Hugo and I's relationship. It's
Yeah.
just a lot of thinly veiled insults that both of us are like, thank you, fuck you, thank you.
Thank you, fuck you, thank you, fuck you.
Thank you.
All right. I guess I don't want to hold you up, but obviously, you want the pay directly to your account, or you want it to go to the debt, or what?
I mean, I figure towards the debt at this point, right? Is anybody
If
in
you
the
can-
market for...
Yeah, if you can get anything for this.
Sorry, I meant
just
yeah. That goes liquidating that. That's not negotiable. That goes towards Grace's debt, which you've inherited,
Right, okay.
obviously. I meant what you dragged in.
Oh, the big ass ship that almost killed us. Yeah, I guess we should get a payout for that and then disperse our funds independently.
All right, whatever you want. I can take care of that for you, no problem.
Appreciate it, Hugo.
That's what I'm here for. All right. I'll get right on that. And he stands there awkwardly for a second. He says, "I can't actually let you stay here, though. I gotta show you out and lock up behind us."
Oh,
so,
right, yeah,
Oh,
security things, of course, yeah. Uh-huh.
So if you don't mind,
That
thank
was
you.
like ushers everyone out.
yeah.
Harris, stop playing phone games. We gotta go. Come on.
Okay, very cool. You all make your way out of the compound. You can leave the Union buildings behind. Depends on what you want to do, really, right? If you're seeking accommodations, or like if you're trying to get drunk or eat or whatever, generally going to be cheaper to do it on Union property as opposed to going out into the city proper. But that's up to y'all.
And relatively safer,
Relatively.
potentially, say. Maybe.
Yeah.
Do we have accommodations here?
So you have to pay for it, but yeah, they do basically have the equivalent of like a hotel on the Union
Like a crash
grounds.
pad kind of thing?
It's closer to a hotel. You just get a discount if you're a Union member.
Sure.
But it is nicer than like a crash pad.
Let's get some room.
Okay.
As in, a room.
Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, you can check in and they'll get you set up. You each get your own. I don't know if you each get your own room or if you're trying to share or what have you, but they're available. They also have like suites and things like that if you all want to be sort of in the same little area. Totally up to you. More expensive, but you guys can probably afford it at this point.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess we would get a suite.
You made good on that Crucible job, so you're not broke
Sure.
yet, exactly.
We also have this new fuel bubble job coming in. So
That's true. You do. Which you'll get paid out for. So, yeah, you can do that. No problem. And like around the time that you were all sort of getting settled in your separate rooms, your ensuite rooms, Karis, you receive a notification on your data pad, which has been completely inactive since before you left Mars.
Really getting back to me.
But you've probably sent in like questions and requests and things like that. That's probably how you communicated you wanted to have your teammates tailed, etc. And the only response you receive says 201-915-R report for debriefing.
Boy. I'm going to respond and see if I can have somebody meet me on site.
Like local?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm sure I already have a tail anyway.
Yeah.
everyone's got tails. Heck.
Okay. You receive a reply that says, negative. Procedure requires time.
Okay. Then, yeah, I'll relay the plan then, that the idea is to hit Taka Tier 1 on the way back up.
Okay.
So,
Okay, you would receive one more reply that basically says, procedure supersedes all other assignments.
okay. All right. And we're already all back at our, I don't know, suite.
Yeah, you're basically in your room.
I'm going to invite Jaxper out on a walk.
Okay.
He's like playing a video game when you come in, like looks up at you. Fine.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. All right.
You step out into the crisp San Antonio evening, sun setting over the city. But there's so much artificial light these days. It's essentially the sky's darker, but doesn't really change anything within the city itself.
Is everything still like weirdly orange? Do we still have like that kind of lighting?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, look. I know that we are in a really fucked up situation. Okay. And I did some pretty fucked up things. No excuses. I'm doing my job. I don't think I need to explain this to you any further. You know what's up. I know what's up.
What do you work for?
I lay it all bare. I am a Shinshoku. I am in a position to be able to help you, your brothers, Maeve. I don't really think Alice needs anything except for new clothes.
He doesn't even wear that nice shirt we bought him.
He doesn't. As a matter of fact, I think I saw him using it as a kitchen rag the other day.
Rude.
That's Ellis.
Yeah, I know.
I want you both to roll act quick.
Oh, shit. That's slick.
That is slick.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Oh, great. Jax is a lot of things. Slick ain't one of them. Ooh, except right now it sure is.
Hey,
we slick as hell.
Were these rolls earlier?
Super slick.
True. Very true. Okay. Both of you detect your nanites simultaneously set off alerts in your mind. They ping both of you. And what they let you know is that a foreign nanite entity is basically on your person.
I'm going to isolate that, and I'm gonna isolate it and figure out what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's any way I can like lend a hand or do the same thing,
I mean-
kind of want my like virtual interface to like pop up, and maybe it's like another NCIS 2 people on 1 keyboard dealy.
Right. Well, basically, you each have a foreign nanite on you. That is what you have been informed of with your role. The question is, how are you dealing with your personal ones? Because that will determine how you roll. Now, you said, Della, you said you were isolating it. Do you mean physically, or like you're trying to override it with your nanites, or what? What are you doing?
I think, yeah, physically. So what that might end up looking like is wherever it is located on, like in the surface of my body, like it might form like a blister.
Okay.
So that it will be like isolated in a blister, so that it can't come into contact with any other part of my body.
Gotcha.
As
well as isolating any signals that are coming out of it with my nanites.
Nice.
Well.
Okay. And what are you doing, Tayo?
My nanites all begin to violently glow blue, and you see them dig themselves out from my skin like you had just disturbed an angry ant colony.
Gross. But okay. I think I want you both to roll firefight, which is volatile.
Am I good?
This count as unarmed combat?
Yeah? Do you get a bonus for that?
Yes, when I engage. Oh no, it's not hand to hand.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you're not using your arms.
Or
True,
hands.
but it's hand to hand.
Yeah.
You know.
Wait. What if I jam her again?
You could try that. You could try that. I mean, you discharged that move, but I'm going to say that enough time has passed since then that you could do it again. That was a couple of days ago, even. So, yeah, you can try that. I would like to see that happen. That's going to be with Slick, also.
The only thing I'm good at.
Well, that's not fair. Karis is good at many things. You fly a ship good.
Not lying.
Pretty
apparently.
decent cook.
You fly a ship good.
You were really
That's
good
a
at
10.
lying. Jaxper was just not in the
Dang.
fucking mood.
Yeah.
That's
okay,
very
fair.
good. Nice.
Although, I didn't have to do too much lying because you guys kind of just let me skate through that entire thing.
I mean,
Which I'm not.
Others
complaining
did.
about.
You successfully jam the signal. So Jaxper, you sense the presence that you sensed, both of you, that you were aware of, disappears. As you sort of jam these things and they disconnect, and they do fall to the ground. They are obviously so small, but you can find them. It sounds pretty safe to say that Karis's nanobots are much bigger than Jaxper's nanobots are. And so
Jaxper's nanobots are cell size.
yeah, exactly. So as you kneel down and pick it up, you find this little deactivated firefly looking thing. And as you look even closer, you can see that it had this almost proboscis, like hypodermic needle emerging from the front, as if it were about to deliver a load of some sort of toxin, had it not been deactivated.
Was this just on me, or was it on both of us?
There was one on each of you.
Okay.
They're coming for me. I'm literally about to hand them over. Okay.
I mean, you would be aware, you don't know if you're being followed or what the deal was, but you did just, break one of the rules, which is told somebody you were a Shinjoku.
Yeah, that's fair.
In the law.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. But I think, honestly, that is probably where we're going to call it, with Jaxper just kind of picking up that little firefly-looking thing and holding it up so Karis can see. The realization dawning on you, Karis, that you might be in some trouble.
Damn.
Good session, everyone. For everyone who joined us for the first time tonight, thank you so much. If you followed, if you chatted with us, if you donated or anything like that, thank you. And we hope you keep coming back if you like what you see here. We play this game every other Sunday, and on the Sundays that we don't play this game in the same time slot is our playthrough of the Call of Cthulhu Pulp campaign, Two-Headed Serpent, which is a different group of players and a different GM, but it does also benefit charity, because that's pretty much everything we do on this channel. Periodically throughout the week, we also sometimes stream video games, depending on, what people are feeling. That's not really on a set schedule or anything, but we do post about it on Twitter, and we do post about it in the Discord, which you can join if you are so inclined, if you'd like to keep up with us. There's that, and our Twitter handle is LFT Apocalypse. There it is. So yeah, feel free to follow us on there as well if you want to keep up with the schedule. I think that's pretty much it.
I would like to. May I make a quick announcement?
Absolutely. Who's got plugs?
I do have a quick announcement, which is that if you continue following the channel, if you like what you see, I will be running a game starting in January, set in the land of Oz, and that will be running every other Wednesday night from 6 until 10.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
That's gonna be
Drop a house on me.
So many houses.
On that
That's
note,
so horny. I never knew that was a sex thing.
All right, we've got our first horny emote before the session even starts.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tayo.
Boy. All right, everyone. Well, on that note, seems like a good time to leave. So we'll see ourselves out. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully we'll see you on future Sundays. And yeah, be good to yourselves. Have a good one.